Chapter 48-41. I beg your pardon for not being able to welcome the distinguished guest from afar when the rain falls in the middle of the pass. The noble woman's voice was soft and sweet, and she sounded like a spring breeze. Her breath made people respect from the heart. The woman was the leader of the family, but she bowed down to Long Chen. Long Chen quickly returned the salute. "Elder, you killed Long Chen. Long Chen came here rashly and bothered you to shut up. I'm really sorry." Dragon Chen didn't expect that the leader of Yuling clan would come out of the closed pass to meet him. Dragon Chen was flattered. The leader of the Yuling clan has a natural flavor and profound strength. However, Long Chen is sure that her strength is definitely stronger than that of the vice leader of the Zichen clan. It was such a strong man that greeted him personally, which moved Long Chen and made him feel ashamed. "My guest, you are welcome. As the guardian of the Dealing clan, and you are the one blessed by the Dealing clan, we will support you as we support the Dealing clan. If you have any needs, we, the Yuling clan, will do our best to help you." The clan leader of Yuling clan looked at Long Chen with a sincere face. Dragon Chen didn't expect that he had inadvertently saved a Dealing girl and planted such a great cause. After flying to the celestial world, he had benefited a lot from this blessing, and the Featherling family was willing to go through fire and water for him. Long Chen was too excited to say anything for a moment. "Come on, my distinguished guest, please accept our most solemn welcome ceremony." The head of the Yuling clan had a graceful smile on his face. As soon as he clapped his jade hand, he suddenly sang. Then he saw that countless young men and women came out from the depths of the woods. They held hands and stepped on the light dance steps. They looked at Long Chen and others. Their eyes were full of kindness. There seemed to be stars flashing in their eyes. That feeling made people put down all their precautions and open their hearts to accept everything. "Brother Long Chen and brother Emon Yen, come. Let's sing and dance together." Yutong pulls Long Chen and Emon Yen with a flowery smile. Her pretty face is full of innocence. I can't." Long Chen and Emon Yen hurriedly waved their hands, but another woman came over, generously holding Emon Yen's hand, and began to jump with Emon Yen. Lu Ziyu and Lu Ziqiong also jumped up with the Feather Spirit family. The happy rhythm, sweet song and pure smile were enough to make people forget all the troubles in the world and wash away all the dust in their hearts at that moment. At this moment, what they feel is the best thing in the world. Here, there is no need to be on guard, and they can completely relax. Pure faces flashed in front of him. Long Chen didn't know how many people were holding him. After a long time, the singing stopped, and the people of the Yuling clan retreated one after another. They waved to Long Chen and others, and gradually retreated into the forest and disappeared. Not only the people of Yuling clan disappeared, but also Yutong Yufei and Lusiqiang and Lusayu. Only Long Chen and Emon Yen were left here. The surrounding environment has changed. I don't know when Long Chen and Emon Yen appeared under a huge tree that covered the sky. They were wrapped by Dao Dao Shenhui and bathed in Shenhui, making people feel comfortable. Emon Yang's divine brightness kept flashing. The power of the divine brightness was helping him heal quickly. If it was normal, Emon Yang would have shouted excitedly. But at this time, he didn't say a word, even his eyes were red. After a long silence, Emon Yen said, "I envy you. Do you envy me for being so popular?" Long Chen smiled. Emon Yen shook his head and said, "I envy your good luck." Long Chen looked strange. "It is the first time in my life that I have heard someone envy my luck. Although you have bad luck in other things, you can always meet people who can confide in you, whether they are confidants or brothers. But I am much worse. Apart from you and Zongying, I have no one to trust in this vast fairyland." Emon Yen sighed. "You told me before that sometimes what supports a person to live is not necessarily a strong strength, but a fetter in his heart. In the past, I thought you were pretending to force me, but now I understand that only by guarding the beauty in your heart can a person not lose his way in the endless darkness." Long Chen was stunned, and then said with a wry smile, "It seems that you are not doing well in the fairyland. We are brothers and sisters." Dragon Chen didn't expect that Emon Yen had stayed in the celestial world for so long that he didn't even make a friend. This is really tragic. I used to think that making friends with people who are better than me is flattery and attachment. My arrogance doesn't allow me to do that. If I make friends with people weaker than me, they will only become a hindrance to me, a burden to me, and slow down my growth. My reason also does not allow me to do so. In the past, I didn't quite understand your behavior. Until today, I understand that the communication between heart and heart is regardless of high or low, and the collision between soul and soul is regardless of status and accomplishments. As long as we have a pure heart and a kind mind, we can share the same wonderful feeling. In short, it is very beautiful. Emo Nien looked at his hands with a smile on his face. What's rare is that his smile today is not obscene. Today, he was moved by the kindness of the Feather Spirit family. His open acceptance and unreserved trust gave him a great shock. He also realized that the tenderness he had never encountered in his life was a huge impact on him, and even subverted his previous obsession with himself. Dragon Dust patted him on the shoulder and said, "Now do you understand? In this world, some things are sacred, inviolable and inviolable. In order to protect it, we can fight to the last drop of blood and burn the last trace of soul. Even if the soul is scared, our will also protect it. Yes, if someone dares to hurt them, I will protect them even if I die." Emo Nien reached out and rubbed his face. Suddenly, he said with a wry smile, "If it had been before, I would never have had such an idea. It's over. Am I possessed?" "No, you are not possessed, but become a Taoist. Under my guidance, you have become enlightened. How about this? Don't ask your wicked master. Just join me. When there are many people, we are brothers. When there are few people, I am your master." "Shit, don't start." Long Chen smiled and dodged Emo Nien's fist. "I took you as my brother, but you wanted to be my master? If I hadn't been hurt, I would show you my real strength and suppress you." Emo Nien was angry. However, after Long Chen's trouble, Emo Nien's mood eased a lot. After he punched, he was pleasantly surprised to find that his injury had been much better. "Brother, this is not good. Let's leave or we will owe more and more to others. In addition, I'm afraid I'll fall in love with this place and never want to leave again. In that case, my ambition will be in vain." Emo Nien was nervous. Calm, at this time, the head of the Yuling clan appeared. Long Chen and Emo Nien hurriedly got up and saluted. "I'm sorry to disturb you, gentlemen. Your time is almost up." Ilgo, Long Chen and Emo Nien patted their thighs. They almost forgot their business. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-42. Come on, give me one of your watching places. Emo Nien jumped up at once. The joke was big. If Long Chen didn't give him the quota, he didn't buy a ticket, and he couldn't even enter the challenge arena. Long Chen hurriedly took out the nameplate. Looking at the two nameplates, Long Chen and Emo Nien were stunned for a moment and asked, "How?" "I'll go and find Lu Ziqiong." Previously, Lu Ziqiong gave them the quota, but neither of them could operate. When Lu Ziqiong was found, Long Chen hurriedly asked her to help with the operation. Lu Ziqiong was also shocked by the two people. In fact, she had wanted to remind Long Chen for a long time, but Long Chen and Emo Nien were in a closed state, and she was not easy to disturb. When he saw that it was too late, he had to be brave enough to remind the Yuling clan that Long Chen still had a challenge arena to fight. The two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, had long forgotten the matter. When Lu Ziqiong mentioned it, they were so anxious that they were about to cry. If Long Chen doesn't allocate the 10 places, these precious places will be wasted. After Lu Ziqiong allocated the places to Emo Nien, Yutong, Yufei, Lu Ziyu and herself, there are still 5 places left. "Elder, will you come with us?" Dragon Dust tries to ask Xiang Yuling clan leader. The leader of the Yuling clan hesitated and said, "I haven't been out of the Holy Mountain for a long time. Now that I'm out of the pass, I'd better go out and breathe. Will you give me the remaining places?" "Sure." Dragon Dust is very straightforward. If these quotas are not used up, it is also a waste. After all, Long Chen doesn't know anyone in the demon-subduing city. If he gives the quota to Lu Chengfeng and others, Long Chen would rather waste it. Long Chen originally thought that the leader of the Yuling clan would give these 4 places to the strongest Tianjiao of the younger generation of the Yuling clan. He also wanted to see something and made friends by the way. But I didn't expect that the 4 people who came were actually 4 old men. These people had a cold breath, and their eyes were full of frightening murderous gas. They were like evil owls in the dark. When they saw people, they would make their souls tremble. The most frightening thing is that these 4 people are all terrible heavenly saints. When they see these 4 people, Long Chen and Mo Nian are awestruck. These 4 people are so murderous that they can't hide it. It's said that the honorable guest is fighting with the direct grandson of the Iron Blood sect leader. In order to avoid too much pressure on the honorable guest, please come out of our Yuling clan elder to help you. The leader of Yuling clan said. I've met my honored guest. The 4 men did not salute when they saw the leader of the Yuling clan, but after the introduction, they bowed to Long Chen slightly. Patriarch, when Long Chen saw this posture, he felt warm and his nose was sour. The Feather Spirit clan is very kind to him. As she said before, if Dragon Dust is in trouble, the Feather Spirit clan will go all out to protect him. The leader of the Yuling clan did what he said. He not only went out to support Long Chen, but also invited the 4 elder guardians. Obviously, she was afraid that Long Chen would be bullied because of her lack of confidence. Dear guest, please don't call me Patriarch. Just call me Rain. You are the most distinguished guest of our Yuling clan. We can do little for you. Please don't mind. The clan leader of Yuling clan looked at Long Chen and said sincerely, thank you for the support of Yulua clan leader. Long Chen will always remember this feeling. Long Chen hugged his fist heavily and was wholeheartedly trusted and unreservedly supported by others. This kind of emotion cannot be expressed in words. Let's go. The head of the Yuling clan smiled and stretched out his jade hand. Suddenly, the people felt a light under their feet. They saw a green leaf dragging them out of the Yuling mountain. With the green leaves flying out, Long Chen saw the branches under the green leaves. The branches pushed them forward. Soon, Long Chen saw the huge tree covering the sky on the top of the Yuling mountain. It was the huge tree that sent Dragon Dust and others out. The branches ran across the sky of the demon-subduing city. As soon as it appeared, it immediately attracted countless strong people to look out from various buildings. In the streets and alleys, countless people stopped to watch, showing their horror one by one. At this time, the hair bun of the head of the Yuling clan was changed from the cloud bun to the capable horsetail. Once the hairstyle changed, the whole person's breath changed. Before, she was elegant and amiable, but after coming out of Yuling Mountain, she became heroic, sacrosanct, and arrogant. The leader of the Featherling clan said, the demon-subduing city looks peaceful on the surface, but in fact, the undercurrent is turbulent and dangerous. The 4 cities have long coveted the position of the city leader. However, the city leader has no children and his blood cannot be inherited. It is said that he has problems because of his impact on a higher realm. As a result, the 4 city guards could not sit still, and Chao Gufeng of Zichenzong's High Sword Left and Iron Blood Gate was the first to get agitated. The other 2 forces, Huangquan Pavilion and Tianxin Hall, are unwilling to fall behind and start to pick up trouble. They are frantically testing Xing Wujiang, and a war of seizing the Lord may break out at any time. Therefore, any disturbance at this time may become the last straw to crush the camel. Therefore, we must be careful. Long Chen was moved. The leader of the Yuling clan didn't want Long Chen to be regarded as a chess piece and eventually become an abandoned son who died in the chaos of the struggle among the 5 forces. Dragon Dust, you don't want to take part in this battle. I don't want you to be used. Suddenly Lu Ziqiang bit her lip and said resolutely. Hearing Lu Ziqiang's words, Long Chen and others were stunned, while Lu Ziyu looked even more dull. She didn't understand what Lu Ziqiang's words meant, but she faintly felt something bad. Long Chen looked at Lu Ziqiang with a ashamed face and smiled, interrupting her words, thank you for your honesty, but please don't go on. Lu Ziqiang could not help saying, actually. Long Chen held out his big hand and gently pressed her fragrant shoulder. I know, so I thank you for your honesty. But in this world, There are some things that people are not as good as heaven. Heaven is not as good as I am. I'm not as good as I am. Other people's conspiracy traps have nothing to do with me. I just want to live with dignity and walk out of my own way in this disordered world. Anyone who obstructs my progress will be crushed by me. This is my way. Therefore, whether it is a conspiracy or a conspiracy, it means nothing to me. Feeling the temperature of Long Chen's big hands and listening to Long Chen's sincere words, Lu Ziqiang choked. I'm sorry. In fact, when Long Chen clashed with the disciples of the Iron Blood sect, she was ordered to deal with it. After the battle was successful, she was ordered to invite the 4 people of Long Chen. Although she did not receive the order, everything seemed strange. Now the Yuling clan leader's words suddenly woke her up. It turned out that this was all a layout, and she was only a part of the layout. If she killed Long Chen, she would not be at ease all her life. There's nothing to be sorry about. We're all friends, aren't we? Long Chen smiled. Yes, we are all friends. No matter what difficulties you encounter in the future, you can always find our brothers. Mo Nian saw that Lu Ziqiang was pitiful and moved with compassion. She patted her chest and promised. Buzz, at this time, there were many nebulae in front of them. They had reached the Nebula Challenge arena, but at this time, someone stopped them. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-43, Yulua Clan Leader. I heard that you have been in seclusion for thousands of years. I didn't expect you to leave the past suddenly today. Do you know if you can cultivate the heavenly pulse? A majestic voice came from the front. Dragon Chen looked intently, and hundreds of figures appeared in front of him. They were wearing the clothes of the Iron Blood Gate. They were the first one, with square faces, wide mouths, eyebrows like swords, and a face of curly beards, just like a mighty lion. As soon as this person appeared, his blood surged into the sky. At that moment, it seemed that Long Chen and others had encountered a wall. The strong sense of oppression made people unable to breathe. The man in front of us is Chao Guofeng, the contemporary leader of the Iron Blood sect. He is ferocious and cruel. It is his descendants that you want to fight. The leader of the Yuling clan did not answer Chao Guofeng's words, but said to Long Chen, "The most important thing is that she speaks to Long Chen without avoiding others. Her words can be heard by all present. Ferocious in nature, cruel in heart, these 8 character comments, well, I like them very much, ha 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 ha." In the face of the evaluation of the leader of the Yuling clan, Chao Guofeng was not at all unhappy, but burst out laughing. Behind Chao Guofeng, there were several old figures. Although their blood was hidden, Long Chen's intuition told him that those people were also heavenly saints. And behind those heavenly saints, there are hundreds of young people. Although they are young, they have amazing qi and blood. Their destiny fluctuates like a vast sea. They are all real strong people. In the face of Chao Guofeng's accost, Yulua doesn't even bother to talk to him. The Yuling clan has no gratitude or resentment with the 4 city guards, but there is no friendship. If it wasn't for Dragon Dust, the Yuling clan wouldn't be involved. Seeing that the leader of the Yuling clan ignored him, Chao Guofeng was not angry, but looked at the Dragon Dust and said coldly, "Boy, are you Long Chen, the one who challenges Shaoqing?" Dragon Chen was not polite and directly replied, "Are you not farting? I said I was your father. Do you believe me? Since you know who I am, why do you still say this nonsense?" Haha. Lu Ziqiang and others were startled by Long Chen's words, while Mo Nian beside Long Chen was already laughing and admiring Long Chen's sharp counterattack. This is very powerful. You. Guofeng almost ran away in anger. Who is he? The contemporary sect leader of Iron Blood sect is so noble that even his enemies dare not speak to him so arrogantly. Now Long Chen almost choked him to death. "The boy wants to die." The words of Long Chen immediately made the disciples of the Iron Blood sect behind Chao Guofeng run away in a flash, holding the weapons one after another. As long as Chao Guofeng said a word, they would rush forward and cut Long Chen into meat sauce. Chao Guofeng resisted his anger and waved his hand to stop the Iron Blood sect disciple. He looked at Long Chen with a gloomy face. "Boy, I don't care who you are. Now I ask you, why are there so many blood curses on you? For you. Blood clan curse? Long Chen was stunned at first, and then realized that the so-called blood clan curse in the Tuyer of Chao was actually the resentment of the strong blood clan before he died. This kind of resentment will be attached to others, so that people of the same clan can easily identify it. Long Chen has killed countless strong blood clan in the world, but this kind of smell is invisible to Long Chen himself, and the strong blood clan can't even notice it. Chao Guofeng was the first to find it. This can only show that Chao Guofeng's strength is more terrible than all the blood clan strong men encountered by Long Chen. In this way, Long Chen has become the mortal enemy of the Iron Blood sect. Sure enough, as soon as Chao Guofeng's words fell, all the strong men of the Iron Blood sect who were present looked at Long Chen's eyes and instantly became blood red. However, facing such a terrible posture, Long Chen did not show any timidity, but said faintly, "You know what you're asking. I killed the immortal world from the mortal world and walked all the way through the corpses. Your blood clan has made great contributions. So, we don't need any nonsense. You want to kill me and I want to kill you. Those so-called excuses don't have to be found at all. Even if you start now, there's no problem." The hatred between Long Chen and the blood clan began in Tianwu continent. He once saw the blood clan slaughtering the human race, enslaving the human race as an animal and devouring it as food. Long Chen hated the blood clan as much as the blood clan hated him. The contradiction between the two cannot be resolved. Therefore, Long Chen will kill Chaos Shaking's provocation to him, whether it is a trap or not. It is not Chaos Shaking that Dragon Dust wants to kill, but the indecision, foresight and timidity in his heart. He can't be too rational or too smart. Otherwise, he will never find the former Dragon Dust. Therefore, knowing that he could not defeat Chao Guofeng, Long Chen still had no fear. Just as he was so weak and faced with countless enemies who could easily kill him, he never retreated. Yes, there are ways to fight, but there are ways to play. At this time, Long Chen has gradually recovered his confidence. In that case, you can't get out of the demon-subduing city alive. Facing the answer from Long Chen, Chao Guofeng smiled darkly. Come on, don't play this childish routine. The reason why you came to intercept me was to create pressure on me and make me affected in the challenge arena? You have such a big head and melon seeds for nothing. What's in it is feces. Do you think your third Master Long is the kind of person who will be bullied by others? Dragon Dust disdains tunnel. Dragon Shin even couldn't figure it out. It's reasonable to say that this kind of old monster has lived for tens of thousands of years. How can he use such naive means? You want to die. At last, Chao Guofeng couldn't bear it. With a roar, a violent breath like a volcano erupted and a bloody flame erupted. He rushed straight to the Dragon Dust. Boom! Just then Yu Luyu stretched out her hand. It seemed that she had known that Chao Guofeng would burst out. She clapped her hand on the void, only heard a dull noise, and the air waves tore through the void. Chao Guofeng and Yu Luyu stepped back at the same time. Buzz! At the moment when the rain fell, the 4 long bows were pulled open. When the bows were like a full moon, heaven and earth shook together, and heaven and earth changed color. The whole demon-subduing city was shrouded in a shadow, and the atmosphere of killing shrouded the sky. The clan protecting elder of the Yuling clan made a move. The 4 people kept silent. However, when the 4 longbows pointed at Chao Guofeng at the same time, Chao Guofeng's face changed greatly. At that moment, he was locked. Moreover, under the guidance of the Qi engine, any action he makes will lead to the simultaneous firing of 4 arrows. Even if he is extremely conceited, if he is attacked by 4 masters at the same time, his probability of being alive will not exceed 50%. He didn't expect that the Yuling clan was so cruel that they wanted his life as soon as they shot. He was careless and fell into a dilemma. Choke choke. When the elders of the 4 protecting families of the Yuling clan took action, all the strong men of the Iron Blood clan had weapons in their hands, and their killing intention was overwhelming. As long as the Yuling clan dared to take action, they would also fight with all their might. I don't believe you dare. Chao Guofeng watched the rain fall coldly. Yu Luo said calmly, as long as Dragon Dust said, you will die today without a place to bury. If you don't believe it, you can have a try. The power of our feather spirit soul destroying arrow. Dragon dust, order him to be killed. First kill their leader, and then clean up those little bastards. Mo Nian was afraid that things would not be big enough, and fanned the flames. Chao Guofeng's face finally changed when he heard the Yuling soul-killing arrow. This is a terrorist weapon of the Yuling clan. It has a prominent reputation and can directly kill people's spirits. The victim will die. If it was one person, he was not afraid, but 4 people pointed at him at the same time. He immediately felt remorseful. If he hadn't been too big and kept a certain distance, he wouldn't be in a desperate situation. At this time, he was already riding a tiger. Unconsciously, sweat came down on his forehead. Chao Guofeng hardened his head and sneered, "If I die, your whole feather spirit family will also be buried. If you have seed, you can do it." As soon as he said this, someone shot him and slapped him in the face. At that moment, the mouths of countless onlookers in the demon-subduing city opened in an instant. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-44. The crisp sound shook the sky and resounded through the clear sky. At that moment, the whole world was quiet and time seemed to be at a standstill. Whether it was Lu Ziqiang and others, or the people of the Iron Blood Gate, or those around who were watching from a distance, they were all stunned. Dead! Chao Guofeng roared. His face was distorted. He had never been so humiliated in his life. Being slapped in the face by a boy from the divine realm was even worse than killing him. Chao Guofeng's blood surged and he shot down Long Chen with one blow. However, Long Chen did not avoid Chao Guofeng's blow and watched him helplessly. Buzzing, at this moment, the long bows of the 4 guardians of the Yuling clan quickly lit up, and the sharp arrows began to make a small shrill sound, just like the bass of a monster, like the howling of a fierce ghost. Just when Chao Guofeng's fist was 1 foot away from Long Chen, he suddenly trembled, and the fist stopped abruptly. Long Chen looked at Chao Guofeng, and a look of mockery appeared at the corners of his mouth. Unexpectedly, he stretched out his big hand, patted Chao Guofeng's face and said, "I know you have no seed. You don't have the courage to die with me. So don't talk too full in the future, okay?" At this time, Long Chen was confident that everything was under control. He knew that Chao Guofeng would not end up with him. Therefore, let alone slap him in the face. Even if he puffed his face, he would not dare to fight back. After Long Chen regained his confidence, his powerful perception came back. At this time, he was not afraid of any danger. It is a pity that Chao Guofeng was so strong that his slap left a faint palm print on his face and soon disappeared, which made him feel a little sorry. Creak, creak. In the face of Long Chen's humiliating action, Chao's style made his teeth break, but his life was already in the hands of others, and he had no choice. Although he knew that if the 4 men shot him, the people of his Iron Blood sect would kill the 4 men at the first time, it was meaningless. The 4 feather spirits aimed at him, and he could not survive at all. The most important thing is that the other side also has Yu Luo, the leader of the Yuling clan. Chao Guofeng will be mad because of his mistakes and restrictions. "Go away, I don't care to kill you with the help of others." Long Chen sneered. At this time, Chao Guofeng retreated slowly, and the people behind him also retreated slowly. When the distance between the 2 sides was widened, the 4 elder protectors slowly put down the long bow. Iron Blood sect disciples listened to the order and gathered together. "Today we will fight to the death with the Yuling clan." The roar of Chao Guofeng spread all over the city. When hearing the roar of Chao Guofeng, the whole demon-subduing city was instantly boiling. People didn't know what had happened and rushed out to watch. "If you want to fight, I will accompany you." The rain fell cold and hummed. She didn't flinch in the face of Chao Guofeng's challenge. "You haven't paid any attention to me, the city master. When did the demon-subduing city become a place for you to act willfully?" Just then, a cold hum came. I only heard its voice, but I didn't see anyone. But the magnificent voice made the whole city tremble. It seemed to be the voice of the city, which was soul-stirring and frightening. Hearing that sound, Long Chen suddenly came up with a name, Xing Wujiang, the master of the whole demon-subduing city and the controller of Fang Tianin. As you can see, the city leader, the Yuling clan, is deceiving people too much. Today I must make the Yuling clan pay the price of bleeding. Chao Guofeng gnashed his teeth. I did see it. Let's do it first. The Nebula Challenge Arena is about to open. I don't want anyone to break the rules of the demon-subduing city. The voice of Xing Wujiang came again. No, I have to kill them today. Chao Guofeng roared. Boom. At this moment, the whole demon-subduing city trembled, and the terror of heaven stirred. At that moment, the whole world was dark, and the cold, killing intention filled the whole heaven and earth. In front of that terrible Tunwei, even the strong man of the heavenly sage felt as small as a mole ant. At that moment, Chao Guofeng's face changed. If you think you can challenge my authority and replace it, why don't you try it now? The voice of Xing Wujiang became callous and even murderous. Chao Guofeng's face was very ugly. He clenched his teeth and looked at Long Chen. Finally, he gave a cold snort and turned away with people, disappearing into the public's view. Seeing Chao Guofeng and others leave, the two sisters, Lu Ziqiong, Lu Ziyu, Yutong and Yufei, were pale and sweaty. They almost fell to the ground. They had never seen such a terrible scene. They almost fell down in the face of Chao Guofeng's murderous spirit. This Chao Guofeng is a fool. Many people say that Xing Wujiang has a physical problem and can't use the power of Fang Tianin. Now, he has confirmed it. Looking at the back of Chao Guofeng, the rain fell lightly. Was that the power of Fang Tianin just now? Lu Ziqiong asked in surprise. Apart from Fang Tianin, what weapons can make Chao Guofeng calm down in an instant? Rain path. Long Chen is full of gratitude to the leader of the Yuling clan, but he has kept this feeling in mind. He will repay this favor when he has a chance in the future. Let's go. The counting time is about to begin. Emoniandao. Long Chen nodded and walked to the Xingyun Challenge Arena with the crowd. Suddenly, Lu Ziqiong said, Long Chen, you are a fighter. You don't need to go in. You can enter the special space prepared for you in the Xingyun Challenge Arena to prepare for the war. No, I'll go in with you. I happen to have something to talk to Yulua Patriarch. Dragon Dust walks along the road. That war preparation space can make people enter the best fighting state. Don't you really need it? Lu Ziqiong reminded me again. There is no need. Self-confidence is the peak. In the same rank, I have the confidence to defeat all enemies. Dragon Dust smiled. With these words, Long Chen walked into the war-watching table with the crowd, but as soon as he came in, Long Chen felt a strong pressure. My God, the challenge arena is so big. Lu Ziyu looked at the challenge arena in front of her and couldn't help exclaiming that it was 10 times larger than the one Lu Ziqiong was fighting against. On both sides of the challenge arena, there are two huge demon heads. Runes are depicted on each bone brick on the challenge arena. The breath of terror cannot even stop the enchantment. It keeps rushing out, giving people endless pressure. Even the two sisters, Lu Ziqiong, felt very hard in the face of the pressure. Fortunately, the rain fell and helped the two sisters resist the pressure, otherwise they would not be able to watch the war. Long Chen glanced at the challenge arena and looked around. He found that there were 5 best viewing platforms around the challenge arena, each with hundreds of positions. These 5 observation platforms are the fixed seats of the 4 city guards and city masters. They will also watch the battle in high-level duels. Rainfall explained. At this time, spectators began to be sent in one after another. However, compared with before, the spectators here are usually silent and extremely quiet. Chief Yulua, there's something I've always wanted to prove to you. Dragon Dust looks at the rain and says, I want to know, what is the relationship between you Featherling clan and Feather clan? Asked here, Long Chen felt a little uneasy in his heart, and even his face was a little uneasy. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-45. The Feather Spirit Clan is separated from the Feather Clan. What's the matter? Seeing the strange face of Long Chen, the rain couldn't help asking. Long Chen immediately looked embarrassed. That would be embarrassing. I'm not friends with Yu Zhu. Earlier, when Long Chen slapped Chao Guofeng in the face, When the breath of the elders of the four protectors erupted rapidly, Long Chen suddenly felt the familiar breath. He suddenly thought of a race, that is, the U-nationality. Long Chen has been dealing with the strong of the U-nationality for several times. Each time, conflicts broke out and killed many people of the U-nationality. This made Long Chen feel uneasy. He wanted to verify with the leader of the Yu clan. As a result, the more he was afraid of, the more he came. The Yu Ling clan was actually a branch of the Yu clan. Rainfell suddenly smiled. You don't have to worry, we Feather Spirit clan are separated from the Feather clan, but we have cut off the relationship with them. Even between us, there is only hatred, no other relationship. And this good thing? Dragon Dust was shocked and delighted. Yula tells Long Chen that in ancient times, the U-nationality was an extremely large race. They were the divine archers of the heavenly saints. Their lethality was amazing. With various gifts, the U-nationality became an extremely powerful race. When a race becomes strong, it will not be willing to live in a corner. Naturally, it will expand outward, kill other creatures and compete for their resources. However, the crazy expansion of the U-nationality was also besieged and suppressed by other forces, and countless wars broke out. The U-nationality became a rat crossing the street because of too many enemies, and everyone shouted to kill. At that time, the strength of the U-nationality was seriously damaged. They had to break up into parts and flee everywhere to avoid the massacre of the enemy. A group of Yu people was chased and killed in scattered places. Fortunately, they escaped into the small world of Dealing people. Here, they met the kind-hearted Dealing people. The Dealing clan heals their wounds and provides them with all kinds of food. Almost what they need, the Dealing clan provides them with. So they settled down in the Dealing clan and quickly recuperated. After thousands of years of reproduction, the strong of the Yu clan became more and more powerful. Finally, one day, they came up with the idea of the mother tree of the Dealing family. They wanted to use the branches of the mother tree to make the strongest arrows. However, the Dealing family who was obedient to them refused. The rejected leader of the Yu clan was so angry that he plotted to kill all the Dealing clan and occupy all the mineral veins here, including the mother tree. However, the leader's proposal immediately caused a huge wave, and contradictions broke out within the U-nationality, which was divided into two factions. One faction thinks that the Yu people are favored by the people. How can they bite the hand that feeds them? The other faction believes that killing the Dealing clan and occupying all the resources here is the best opportunity for the rapid prosperity of the U-nationality and the revitalization of the U-nationality. This is the opportunity given to them by God. As a result, the contradictions between the two factions became more and more intense, and finally evolved from quarrel to conflict, and from conflict to bloody war. In the end, the leader was killed. Those who advocated devouring the Dealing clan were all executed, and the Yu clan was also severely weakened from prosperity. At this time, the mother tree of the Dealing clan appeared. It told these living Yu people that their goodness had defeated evil and greed, and a new race appeared from then on. The mother tree gave these feather people unique divine patterns. From then on, the Feather Spirit family was born, and the Feather Spirit family has become the guardian of the Butterfly Spirit family. The Feather Spirit clan is a race between the Feather clan and the Spirit clan. They have both good and evil sides. However, their good side is towards the Dealing clan, while their evil side is towards the enemies who are trying to persecute the Dealing clan. Therefore, when Long Chen came to Yuling Mountain, he felt all kindness, sincerity, and unconditional trust. But when he came out of Yuling Mountain, the rain fell like a different person. The Yu nationality was originally a very powerful race. After receiving the blessing of divine stripe from the mother tree, they began to worship their own tree gods and derived their own unique magic powers. They have become a family. Therefore, the Yuling nationality now has nothing to do with the Yu nationality. The Yuling clan has inherited the fierce and fearless blood of the Yu clan. They are also eager to kill, but they can restrain themselves. This desire to kill will only break out when the enemy appears. Therefore, the rain falls to support the Dragon Dust, fearless of anyone, not because the Feather Spirit clan is strong enough to ignore others, but because their bones are flowing with belligerent blood, and sometimes they can't help it. That's great. In this way, a stone at the bottom of my heart will be put down. Otherwise, it'll kill so many you people. I really can't tell you. Long Chen said with a smile. At this time, he became much more relaxed. The rain suddenly said, "Dragon dust, that chaos shaking is not weak, and you slapped Kaiguofeng. He hates you to the bone. If my expectation is correct, Chao Guofeng is giving advice to Chao Shaoqing at this time. He will even pass some precious treasures to him to help him kill you in the challenge arena. This challenge arena is connected with Fong Tianin. Once it is opened, we can't take part in your fight. You can't take it lightly. Don't worry, I am confident, not conceited. I always firmly believe that in the face of absolute power, any wisdom is nonsense." Long Chen smiled. "It's a pity. I'm hurt. Otherwise, I won't let you stand out alone." Mo Nian could not help muttering. At Yuling Mountain, with the help of the tree god, he recovered from his injury and recovered more than half of his strength. However, he was still far from his peak. At this time, he was a little upset to see Long Chen showing off. "Don't worry. When you get well, I'll leave Kaiguofeng to you. I won't rob you of this." Long Chen smiled. Buzz, as soon as Long Chen's voice fell, the nearby viewing platform lit up, and then Long Chen saw Chao Guofeng with a ferocious face, as if he were going to bite. At this time, Chao Guofeng looked at Long Chen with a gloomy face. If he could kill people, Long Chen would have been chopped into meat. "What are you looking at? Don't you agree? Do you believe that Master Mo has beaten your face too?" Seeing Chao Guofeng's eyes, Mo Nian spoke before Long Chen spoke. "Wait, little beast. How long can you be arrogant?" Chao Guofeng gnashed his teeth. "Cut, a little heavenly saint, dare to be arrogant in front of you? I am injured now, otherwise I will die if I fart. Do you believe it?" Mo Nian sneered. "You fart?" Chao Guofeng was furious. "Are you not afraid to die?" Asked silently. Chao was so popular that he stood up on the spot, but was stopped by several old people around him. Some people directly opened the barrier of the grandstand. In this way, the voices of both sides could not be transmitted to each other. "Cut, say a few words and you'll be furious. It's really delicious, playful and quick-eyed." But silently, he looked contemptuous. Buzz, just then, the observation platform on the other side of Long Chen lit up, and a group of figures appeared. Seeing the people over there, Lu Ziqiang and Lu Ziyu hurried up to salute. "I have seen the Lord." You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-46 Long Chen looked for prestige. Even if Long Chen and Mo Nian saw Gao Jianli, they could not help but feel scared. The half-skeleton and half-flesh face was really frightening. However, Long Chen didn't look at it again after taking a look, but turned his head to look at the challenge arena. Long Chen didn't have any good feelings for Zichen's sect, and her relationship with Lu Ziqiang was only limited to her. Even Long Chen doesn't have any good feelings for Lu Ziyu. If she isn't thought to be Lu Ziqiang's sister, Long Chen won't let her watch the war at all. Normally, Long Chen is friendly with Lu Ziqiang. At this time, he should get up and salute. At least, he should nod his head, but Long Chen is too lazy to deal with these people who are good at various routines. Long Chen didn't look at Gao Jianli, but Gao Jianli said, "President Long Chen, on behalf of Zichenzong, I just congratulate you on your success." When Gao Jianli opened his mouth, all the strong players were surprised. "Dean? Who is the dean? Is it the young man in black who challenged Chao Shaoqing?" Since everyone else spoke, even if Long Chen was unwilling to respond, he had to be polite and said with a slight bow, "Thank you, Lord. I hope so." Long Chen's response was neither salty nor warm. He kept a certain distance from Chao Shaoqing. Although Zichenzong was leading the way, Long Chen didn't want to be used by them. In the face of Long Chen's indifferent response, Gao Jianli seemed as if nothing had happened, but there was a cold light in his eyes. Obviously, Long Chen's response made him angry. However, he was also a man of the city government. On the surface, he sat down quietly. Behind him, the strong men of the Zichen sect took their seats one after another. At this time, Lu Ziqiang and Lu Ziyu felt uneasy. The Liu family was just one of the 3 families of the Zichen clan. Although they were top experts in the Liu family, they were not top talents. Now, they are sitting in the most conspicuous and eye-catching position with Long Chen. Looking at the envious eyes of those fellow Tianjiao who are usually high above, they are on pins and needles. At this time, on a war viewing platform opposite the challenge arena, an old man who looked drooping old, his face wrinkled like bark, and was so old that he could hardly open his eyes, sat down with the help of a crowd. After the old man sat down, his eyes scanned the whole audience. When his eyes fell on Long Chen's eyes narrowed slightly, because at the moment of looking at him, there was a strange energy wave in Long Chen's body. The strangest thing is that if it wasn't for the old man's eyes, Long Chen couldn't even sense the wave in his body. It's interesting that this guy practices the ghost way. Mo Nian looked at the old man and felt strange. Yulo looked at Mo Nian with some surprise and said, "Your eyes are very malicious." He is really a ghost cultivator. He is the leader of the Yellow Spring Pavilion, nicknamed Night Owl. His real name is unknown. Huangquan Pavilion, no wonder. Mo Nian nodded. "What's this guy's way?" Dragon Dust asked. Mo Nian shook his head and said, "I can't see any way, but I steal." Cough, after all these years of archaeology, I have met some tomb robbers who practice ghost ways underground, and I have had some festivals with them. Is it because of robbing business? Dragon Dust was speechless. Robbing Mao business? I'm an archaeologist excavating historical sites, restoring the historical truth, and making contributions to the human race and the whole spiritual world. These people who cultivate the ghost world just want to cultivate evil skills and collect ghost spirits. Can it be the same? Long Chen retorted that Mo Nian had been trampled on his tail. It's just a joke. Don't blush. Long Chen smiled. It's not funny at all, but you should pay attention to one thing. People who practice the ghost way have a lot of ideas and extremely strange means. You haven't seen them before. If they don't do it well, they will capsize in the gutter. Mo Nian reminded him. Mo Nian has been groping underground for years. He has encountered all kinds of strange things. Although he doesn't admit it, he did encounter the phenomenon of robbing business. He also had a hand with the inheritors of the Ghost Road. He has a certain understanding of them. Suddenly there was another movement in the distance. On another stand, an old woman with a crutch appeared with a group of people. That's the Lord of Tianxin Hall. I don't remember his name. This woman is also a ruthless lord. It's said that the former lord was her husband, and his husband died in her hands. No one knows the specific reason. Rain falls to Long Chen. A gossipy woman, even if she looks beautiful, will be annoying. Be careful that trouble comes out of her mouth. Suddenly the old woman opposite looked at the rain, and her wrinkled face was all cold and fierce. Obviously, she heard Yuluo's words. Surprisingly, Yuluo communicated with Long Chen here, and her voice became a line. Unexpectedly, she heard them. Facing the provocation of Tianxin garrison leader, Yuluo didn't respond, but Mo Nian, who was in debt, seized the opportunity and said, "An old woman with a vicious mouth and a mean face is annoying even if she doesn't talk." Dragon Chen immediately screamed loudly. One of the most destructive words in Mo Nian's sentence was old women. It's the most taboo to talk about age, especially those really old women. Little beast, you can't walk out of the demon-subduing city alive. Sure enough, Mo Nian's words were so destructive that the head of the Heart Hall suddenly twisted his face and made a harsh roar. The strong people on the scene were shocked by her voice, and countless people almost fainted. It's really ugly people who make many troubles. It's obviously you who provoked us to be beautiful, graceful, and dignified, just like the rain-falling patriarch in the world, and won't let others fight back? He's old and ugly. He has such a bad temper. I don't understand what kind of man has such a strong taste. Ink-red stall, a face of disbelief. Dead? That day, the Lord of the Heart Hall was so angry that he could no longer control his emotions. His palm, like a bird's claw, grabbed Mo Nian across the air. Mo Nian Ling hum, just about to make a move, suddenly the challenge arena trembled, and the Lord of the Heart Hall was pushed back by a powerful force that day. It's getting more and more unruly. At this moment, a majestic cold hum spread all over the challenge arena. Everyone in the arena was awestruck. Two words came to mind. City Master. At this time, a figure like an iron tower appeared on the only empty observation platform. When that figure appeared, the strong players in the challenge arena felt the pressure of the tsunami. What a terrible threat! Long Chen and others trembled. This is the strongest authority they have seen so far. It is not the same level as the Heavenly Sage. But to everyone's surprise, the City Lord was wearing a robe and a hat. He couldn't see his face clearly. So he appeared and sat down slowly on the observation platform. When he appeared, the whole audience was silent and the needles could be heard. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-47. When that figure appeared, all eyes of the audience focused on him. This person was the contemporary leader of the demon-subduing city Xing Wujiang. The city leader is not hereditary, but the successor selected by Fang Tianyin. Fang Tianyin's selection method is also very simple and rough. Whoever has the strongest strength among the five forces is the lord of the demon-subduing city. It is said that Fang Tianyin was a powerful force in the ancient times. However, after a bloody battle, that force was badly weakened. Due to its own contradictions, it fell apart and formed five major forces. These five forces are today's Zichen sect, Iron Blood sect, Huangquan Pavilion, Tianxin Hall, and the Xing family, represented by Xing Wujiang. It is said that after the war the other four forces left, and the demon-subduing city was in the charge of the Xing family. At that time, the demon-subduing city was the most difficult time. Fang Tianyin suppressed evil spirits and was unable to take care of the Xing family. At the same time, the rest of the evil spirits continued to attack the subdued city in an attempt to save their ancestors. The Xing family clings to the city of subduing demons, and has waged a bloody battle with demons for tens of thousands of years. The bloody battle was extremely fierce, but finally the Xing family survived. When the demons saw that they could not capture the subdued city, they finally chose to leave, and the Xing family also got a chance to breathe. However, at this time, those who had fled the city of subduing demons came back, and they regarded themselves as the heirs of Fang Tianyin. The Xing family resented their betrayal and refused to be with them. Seeing that another fratricide was about to happen, Fang Tianyin conveyed his divine idea. It allowed Zichen sect, Iron Blood Gate, Tianxin Hall and Huangquan Pavilion to take charge of the demon-subduing city together. The position of city leader can also be held by the strong of major forces, but there are two conditions. First, the person holding the position must have the blood of the original owner of Fang Tianyin, and second, he must pass the test of Fang Tianyin. First, the leaders of the four forces are basically satisfied. Although their blood has been impure, they still have a trace. The second condition is very harsh. Fang Tianyin's test is extremely amazing and terrifying. Only the strong man of Tianxing level is qualified to participate. If he fails, he is likely to lose his life. However, even so, the five forces are still fighting frantically for the position of city leader. Although there are strong forces who have ascended the position of city leader, throughout history, people of the Xing family have been in charge of Fang Tianyin for most of the time. According to Fang Tianyin's rules, one family is the city master, and the rest of the aristocratic families are the city guards. They need to obey the orders of the city master. However, the contemporary city master has no boundaries and no children. As a result, the other four families immediately feel the opportunity. According to Fang Tianyin's rules, people without original blood are not qualified to inherit Fang Tianyin. Even if there are other people in the Xing family who have inherited blood, their strength is too weak to be ignored. In this way, the Xing family is almost the last empress, so the city master can only belong to the four families in the future. Therefore, the four forces are becoming more and more licentious. Recently, it was reported that Xing Wujiang had a physical problem, and their performance became more and more intense. However, when Xing Wujiang really appeared, the four forces were immediately intimidated. Xing Wujiang didn't look like a problem at all. Xing Wujiang is sitting in his own position. He is alone in such a large grandstand. He looks lonely, but he still gives people endless pressure. From his appearance to sitting down, Xing Wujiang did not say a word. He did not even take off his hat. Everyone could not see his face clearly. However, Long Chun suddenly felt a shock in his heart. He felt that under the bamboo hat, he looked at him like a sword. At that moment, the dragon blood circulation, purple blood and colorful supreme blood in his body also became restless. Are you weighing my weight? Long Chun looked at Xing Wujiang, his eyes narrowed slightly, and looked at him fearlessly. Little brother, fight hard. I'll invite you to dinner if you win. Suddenly Xing Wujiang opened his mouth. However, the whole audience was stunned by this opening. It was a little too strange, and some were too abrupt, which made people confused. Thank you first. It seems that the city lord has no malice. Long Chun nods his head to express his thanks. Xing Wujiang's words are backing for Long Chun. At Xing Wujiang's opening, Chao Shaiking's face became gloomy for a moment, but a gloomy smile appeared at the corners of his mouth. Win? Dream? Buzz? Just then, the nameplate hung by Long Chen on his waist began to flicker. Long Chen didn't understand what was going on. Lu Ziqiang hurriedly said, "You are about to be sent to the challenge arena. Hurry to enter the fighting state." After the nameplate flashes, the countdown starts when you enter the challenge arena. You need to enter the combat state quickly, otherwise you can't bear the impact of the magic power on the challenge arena. 10 moves? Emo Nian asked. Stop it. Long Chen is not very angry. Long Chen doesn't want to play such a boring game. He sets a threshold for himself. Isn't he sick? However, Lu Ziqiang and others were numb. Although they only said 4 words in their dialogue, these 4 words contained terrible things. Long Chen stood up, slightly tidied up his clothes, and stretched for a long time. It looked so relaxed and comfortable. Buzz, at this time, the challenge arena trembled, and a magical light shrouded the dragon dust. The dragon dust disappeared. When it reappeared, it had entered the challenge arena. At the same time, the figure of Chaos Shaking also appeared. When the figure of Chaos Shaking appeared, the strong people on the scene gave a cry of surprise. God, what is he wearing? Luzia's eyes widened. At this time, Chao Shaoqing was wearing a set of black armor, which wrapped him tightly and armed him to the teeth. The soles, fists, knees and elbows of the armor were all covered with sharp spikes. On the helmet, there were 2 dagger-like spikes. This armor is as black as ink and covered with dense bloodlines. Once it appears, even across the border, you can feel its gloomy and terrible breath. This suit of armor seems to be the Demon King armor from hell. When seeing this suit of armor, countless people in the audience opened their mouths. No, the Iron Blood sect took out all the Blood Soul armor. Isn't this the treasure of the Iron Blood sect? Only the sect leader is qualified to use it. Aren't you kidding? The Iron Blood sect will take out the Blood Soul armor to arm Chao Shaoqing. This battle still has Mao's eyes. For a while, countless people whispered to each other, and some even felt angry. It was obvious that Chao Shaoqing was a schemer. He was so strong that he didn't give the other party a chance to wear this suit of armor. Boom! However, just when everyone whispered, the challenge arena roared and exploded, green bricks glowed, and the vast magic power swept the audience. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48 Boom. When the challenge arena was lit up, the fierce pressure surged everywhere, and the enchantment rippled. Waves of magic power broke through the enchantment and swept the entire viewing platform. What a terrible threat! Some people exclaimed that even across the border, those who are both powerful in the realm of God have been so oppressed that countless people are unable to breathe and turn pale. Some even feel headache. The pressure of Challenge Arena 21 is too strong. It's so terrible outside. I'm afraid the pressure inside can kill me alive. A disciple of the divine realm said in horror. According to the rules of the Xingyun Challenge Arena, the level of the spectator cannot be lower than that of the participant, otherwise he is not qualified to buy tickets. In fact, This is also to protect those who watch the war from irreversible damage caused by the terror. The most frightening thing is that this is just the beginning. After a while, the coercion will become more frightening. There are other strong people who feel extremely uncomfortable, but they desperately endure it. Because I can't help it. The ticket has been bought. The service purpose of the Xingyun Challenge Arena is to kill people without refunding the ticket. If I can't bear it, I can choose to leave the arena. I just need to excite the rune on the seat to leave safely. But once you leave, you will never get in again. Besides, the tickets to the number 21 Challenge Arena are very expensive. Even the rich family background of the strong with God's respect for the environment will feel painful. Boom! The challenge arena is constantly shaking, the symbols on the tiles are lit, the space on the challenge arena is constantly distorted, and the strength of the challenge arena is still rising rapidly. However, the dragon dust on the challenge arena stood with a negative hand. These magic powers had little impact on him, and I don't know what power offset them. However, Long Chen doesn't care. Even if he doesn't offset it, he still can't do anything about this level of magic power. He stands on the challenge arena and quietly looks at Chao Shaoqing, who is already armed to the teeth. Dragon dust, you can use evil methods to block the magic power. Can't others? Today, you won't be able to get out of the challenge arena alive. Chao Shaoqing snorted coldly. The helmet wrapped his face, but showed a pair of scarlet eyes. The pupils in the eyes looked particularly frightening. Do you think I'm not influenced by the devil's power, because I use evil methods? There was a sneer on the corner of Long Chen's mouth. Well, you think it's an evil law. To tell you the truth, you disappointed me very much. I thought you should be a very powerful person. I didn't expect that I would lose sight of you. Do you think you're going to make me angry? Stupid fellow. Chao Shaoqing sneered. You think too highly of yourself. The third master of dragon never disdains to play with these useless things. In fact, when you wear this armor, you have lost. Dragon dust light tunnel. Haha. Chao Shaoqing laughed angrily. It's interesting. I've seen crazy people, but I haven't seen you so crazy. It's interesting. I really want to know if your mouth will be so hard when I tear your body a little bit. Boom, suddenly, Chao Shaoqing took a step forward. At the moment he took this step, the surrounding space began to distort. In this case, he needed to withstand the terrible threat of the demon saint. He could even see that the space rune was pushed away by his power. At the moment when Chao Shaoqing moved, the dragon dust moved, and he also took a step forward. Similarly, the space around the dragon dust was moving, and strange runes were twisting. However, when Long Chen made this move, all the strong men on the scene took a breath of cold air. Even Chao Gufeng, Gao Jianli, the leader of Huangquan Pavilion and the leader of Tianxin Hall were moved. When Chaos Shaking moved forward, he forced the Magic Saint Rune to retreat. When Long Chen moved forward, it was the Magic Saint Rune that actively avoided him, as if he were afraid of Long Chen. Interesting, when Xing Wujiang saw this scene, a smile appeared at the corners of his mouth under his cloak. When Yulua clan leader saw this scene, he smiled happily. There are too many demons slaughtered by dragon dust, which has formed an indescribable force in the field, and has produced great restraint against these runes. Clan leader, I don't know one thing about my disciple. The dragon dust is just a divine realm, and the rune is a rune on the holy demon bone. Lu Ziqiang asked for advice modestly. Lu Ziqiang said the same question in the hearts of countless people. A disciple of the divine realm can suppress the divine runes, which is not in line with common sense, nor the laws of the spiritual world. Yulua explained, I personally believe that there are two reasons for this. First, there are too many demons slaughtered by dragon dust, because when the equivalent reaches an extreme, qualitative change will occur. The second is the magic talisman on the challenge arena. Although it comes from the heavenly saint-level demon, the demon is dead, the will is dissipated, there is no threat, but there is no soul. Therefore, when they encounter the demon-killing field of dragon dust, they instinctively avoid it. Therefore, this incredible scene appears. Hearing Yu Luo's explanation, Emo Nian nodded. He had to say that Yu Luo's patriarch was well informed. Although it was speculation, There should be no mistakes. Mo Nian also sensed that although these evil saints' threats are powerful, they have no substantial harm. This is also to take care of everyone. Otherwise, if we do not erase the will of the evil saints' threats will become extremely deadly and could not be killed. Boom, tread, boom, tread, Long Chen and Chaos Shaking moved forward simultaneously. Long Chen's footsteps were light, like a dragonfly skimming the water, while Chaos Shaking's footsteps were heavy and the earth shook. However, no matter how heavy Chaos Shaking's footsteps were, he could not hide the sound of Long Chen's footsteps. As they moved forward slowly, the threat of the whole challenge arena became more and more terrible. The enchantment of the challenge arena began to expand rapidly, and endless magic chi came from the enchantment. Although the magic chi was only a trace, it still surprised countless spectators. They were afraid that the enchantment would burst and the magic power would crush them. Shut up and watch the battle with peace of mind. The challenge arena will not explode. Chao Guofeng roared. Absorbed in watching the battle, he listened to the noise of so many people. He was immediately upset. His eyes were full of cold and fierce light. When the whole audience heard Chao Guofeng's shouting and scolding, they were scared to death. They all knew that this guy was angry and they all kept their mouths shut. At this moment, Gao Jianli looked at Chao Guofeng with an angry face and said, "Master Chao, this is your fault. The Nebula Challenge Arena is not your home, but the public property of the demon-subduing city. What other people like to say and do only needs to be within the rules of the Nebula Challenge Arena. No one is qualified to tell them what to say and what to do. You are so impetuous and angry that people will mistakenly think that you are afraid that Chao Shaoqing will lose." Chao Guofeng was furious and stood up at once. At that moment, the nerves of the whole audience were tense. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 48-49. Seeing Chao Guofeng stand up, the spectators on the scene were shocked. They thought Chao Guofeng was going to make a move. If he did, what would he do? Their hands were pressed on the teleport symbol. Once things went wrong, they ran away immediately. Although the tickets are important, life is more important. If the two heavenly saints make a move and die here rashly, it is not worth it. However, Chao Guofeng didn't do it. Instead, he pointed to Gao Jianli and said angrily, "Nonsense. This dragon dust is nothing. Even if there are 10 of them, you can't win Qingya." Facing the furious Chao Guofeng, Gao Jianli said with a smile, "You are really ignorant. Don't you know who the dragon dust is? Lingshao Academy has always heard of it. The youngest dean in the history of Lingshao Academy can't even count anything in front of you. It's really powerful." When Chao Guofeng said the words, Lingshao Academy, the young people present could not feel it, but the older generation of strong people were moved by it. When they looked at the dragon dust again, their eyes changed. The older people, the more knowledgeable people, the more they could understand what those 4 words mean. When he heard about Lingshao Academy, Chao Guofeng was also shocked, but he forced himself to calm down and said, "A declining academy has long been a legend. Letting such an arrogant and domineering boy be the dean can only show that Lingshao Academy is not the Lingshao Academy it once was." Well, today Qing'er killed the youngest dean in the history of Lingshao Academy, which can be regarded as adding a lot of color to his achievements. At this time, Mo Nian finally couldn't help but insert a sentence. "Do you still have a lot of ink? Pull it down. Your stupid child will be beaten to find his teeth and kneel down to beg for mercy in a moment. To tell you the truth, if you don't shit out, I'll count him as holding it tight. Just don't cry later." "Where are you from, son of a bitch? How can you talk here?" Chao Guofeng shouted angrily when he saw that a disciple of Mo Nian's divine realm was rude to him. Mo Nian chucked his lips and said, "Well, you can shout here if you are a man with a big mouth. Why don't you have my say? You want to die." These 3 words spewed out from the air of Chao's state, just like 3 thunderbolts on a sunny day, shaking the whole challenge arena suddenly bright and dark, and the murderous spirit swept the whole arena. The so-called beating people without beating their faces and not exposing their shortcomings when they talk to each other. Mo Nian is exposing Chao Guofeng's scar to death. Chao Guofeng is going crazy for a moment. Master Chao, if you make any more noise, interfere with others watching the battle, and ignore the rules of the Xingyun Challenge Arena, I can only teleport you out. Just then, an old and mechanical voice came. That voice is the voice of the spirit of the Nebula Challenge Arena. This voice once warned Emonian not to gamble. Now it appears again. Hearing the warning from the Xingyun Challenge Arena, Chao Guo was so angry that he trembled and his hair stood up. I was afraid that he would explode with anger. At this time, Emonian put a finger to his mouth, made a silent gesture, and whispered with a bad smile. "Shu, do you hear me? You can't fart loudly, or you will be cleaned out as garbage. I advise you to hold your fart now." Emonian was as angry as he wanted to be. Chao Guofeng was so angry that he kept shivering. He secretly swore that when the Challenge Arena competition was over, he would take this guy out of his skin and bruise his bones. At this time, Emonian was more hateful than Long Chen in his heart. But he also understood that it was his turn to quarrel. He was not Emonian's opponent at all. He had to gnash his teeth and sit back in his position. When the Lord of Huangquan Pavilion looked at Long Chen, his eyebrows frowned and he seemed to be lost in thought, while the Lord of Tianxin Hall was unmoved. It seemed that he didn't care much about the 4 words Lingxiao Academy. After the scene quieted down, everyone's eyes focused on the Challenge Arena. However, Long Chen and Chao Shaoqing in the Challenge Arena were isolated from each other and did not know what happened on the viewing platform. The two men still moved forward steadily. The pressure of the Challenge Arena became stronger and stronger, and their footsteps became faster and faster. In the end, they galloped forward like 2 meteors. Iron Blood Xinghui, Blood Sea Lying Crazy Crocodile. Chao Shaoqing shouted angrily. His blood filled the air behind him. A vision spread out, and an endless sea of blood churned. In the sea of blood, a huge figure could be seen faintly. When Chao Shaoqing's vision was opened, his life was ignited in an instant. The magic power rune that had been pressed on him was suddenly bounced off and quickly pressed against the dragon dust. "Oh my God," under the pressure of the demon saint, the vision was opened directly, said Lu Ziqiang, who was so shocked that she covered her mouth. She knew how much the vision was suppressed in the fierce magic power. At that time, she and Hu Yifei fought against the magic power bit by bit to make the vision expand inch by inch. Chaos Shaking, however, braved the pressure and spread the vision. In that way, the pressure of the whole Challenge Arena fell to the dragon dust. Chaos Shaking didn't give Long Chen a chance to breathe at all. After the vision was spread out, he took the first shot, punched out, chased after the evil spirit in front of him, and went straight to Long Chen. Chaos Shaking's fist was full of sharp spikes. His sharp spirit broke through the air. Even outside the court, you can feel its sharpness. At that moment, Yutong Yufei was so scared that she covered her eyes with her hands, while Lu Ziqiang and Lu Ziyu clenched their hands. Red Dragon fighting body now. The dragon dust stopped drinking, followed by the loud sound of dragon singing, which resounded throughout the audience. When the devil pressure rolled towards the dragon dust, the holy dragon power rose into the sky and collided with the devil gas. Boom! There was a startling explosion, and the magic chi was knocked away by Long Wei. The magic power on the Challenge Arena disappeared in a moment. In the astonishment of countless people, the 7-color divine ring behind the dragon dust flows. In the divine ring, a giant dragon can be seen swimming, but the dragon is too big, and only a few scales can be seen in the divine ring. Dragon Dust's whole body was covered with blood-colored scales. A blood-colored cloak behind it was automatic without a wind, setting off the fact that Dragon Dust came into the world like a dragon god and was proud of heaven and earth. The power of dragon blood radiated for 9 days. At this time, the Dragon Dust was noble, sacred, cold, and arrogant. The temperament of the whole person was completely changed, just like a different person. This is too handsome. When Long Chen appeared in this posture, countless nuns could not help exclaiming in the battlefield. This visual impact was too great for them. He pretended to do it again. It's disgusting. Looking at the gorgeous transformation of Long Chen, Emonian bit his teeth, envious and jealous. Dragon dust was covered with bloody dragon scales. At that moment, a strange light appeared in his eyes. At that moment he suddenly realized, confidence is the peak. Only when I am confident, my strength is invincible. At this time, Chao Sheking's fist full of spikes had come to Long Chen. Boom, with a bang, Long Chen did not dodge. In the eyes of countless people, he hit the other party's fist. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4850 Boom. The fistful of sharp spikes and the fistful of bloody scales collided with each other, and there was a startling explosion. The air wave swept the whole challenge arena. The violent atmosphere spread rapidly in all directions across the border. The strong men in the presence exclaimed in a burst, and the vigorous wind came out of the enchantment, making their cheeks ache, just like a knife. The reason why so many people are flocking to the Nebula Challenge Arena is that you can feel the pressure of the opponent on the watching table, which makes you feel like you are on the scene. Watching the battle between the strong is of great benefit to the spectators. Otherwise, these people would not go all out to buy such expensive tickets. My God, after the enchantment, their power has been lost, but they are still so terrible. If I were in it, wouldn't I be crushed to pieces? Some disciples of the divine realm exclaimed. Buzzing. Long Chen's fist resisted Chao Sheking's fist. Although the sharp spikes on Chao Sheking's fist were extremely sharp, they still could not pierce Long Chen's scales. Long Chen looked at Chao Sheking and felt his power constantly gushing. He said faintly, "The armor is good. Unfortunately, it's not yours. With your strength, you can't play its real power. Its biggest function is to help you offset the magic power of the challenge arena. In addition, it can't bring you any help." Long Chen's opening shocked the strong men present. Long Chen was able to speak and his tone was calm, which showed that Long Chen didn't do his best at all. Frog at the bottom of the well, how dare you look down upon the bloody soul armor? Chao Sheking looked at Long Chen, and his eyes were full of sarcasm. I don't look down on blood soul armor. I look down on you. Dragon dust retorted. Boom, Long Chen's words immediately made Chao Shaoqing furious. His blood was spewing wildly, and the sea of blood in the vision behind him began to boil gradually. God, his breath is still rising. Their power seems endless. They are all monsters. Seeing Chao Sheking's breath, it was still rising rapidly. However, no matter how Chao Sheking's breath rose and how his power was superimposed, the dragon dust was as motionless as a rock. Just like a nail, he nailed it to the ground. No matter how hard Chao Shaoqing tried, he could not push Long Chen one step. Don't worry. Release all your strength. They'll wait for you. Long Chen looked at Chao Shaoqing and said, Well, let me show you the real power of Chao Shaoqing. Seeing Long Chen speak like this, Chao Shaoqing has a fierce look in his eyes. Lu Ziqiang on the war viewing platform saw this scene, but her face changed, and her eyes were full of anxiety. Mo Nian saw the clue and asked. Lu Ziqiang looked nervous. You don't know. Chao Sheking's strength is terrible, but because he is the power of the ancient blood crocodile, it is very slow to guide. Usually, if you want to defeat him, you need to do it before he has fully awakened the power of the ancient blood crocodile. Once he has fully awakened the power of the ancient blood crocodile, even in the younger generation of the Iron Blood clan, few people are his opponents. I see. No wonder Long Chen has become so patient. Mo Nian suddenly realized the Tao. Brother Mo Nian, what do you mean by that? Yutong asked. Mo Nian said patiently, that is to say, your brother Long Chen doesn't want to bully him when he sees that he is not in the peak state. He wants to try how strong he is in the strongest state. Mo Nian has been very happy these 2 days. The two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, have called Mo Nian brother one by one, making Mo Nian's bones almost crispy. That kind of pride can hardly be described in words. Brother Long Chen, isn't he afraid of losing? Yufei was surprised. Lose? It's impossible. Our brother has never lost in his life. In fact, we also want to taste the taste of failure. Unfortunately, the conditions are not allowed. Alas. Speaking of later, Emonian also gave a long sigh. How lonely the invincible looked. Wow, brother Emonian, you are so awesome. When Yutong and Yufei looked at Emonian, their eyes were full of small stars, and the color of worship on their faces was not hidden. I'm very surprised. If Yulua clan leader is not here, will you act so recklessly? Lu Ziyu looked curiously at Emo and said. Emonian said with a smile, we two brothers always have no taboos. We can do whatever we want. There is nothing in the world that we dare not do. Our greatest confidence in this life is our own strength. We two brothers disdain to do things like pretending to be powerful. It has to be said that Lu Ziyu's EQ is really low. When she was halfway through her words, Lu Ziqiong gave her a wink. Her question was very impolite, even more provocative and questioning. Emo Nien answered her questions in the first half of the sentence, while the second half of the sentence was a kind of irony. We are different from you aristocratic family disciples. We don't need names to scare people. Sorry, my sister didn't mean that. Lu Ziqiong hurried to apologize to Emo Nien. She knew that Emo Nien must be unhappy. This sister is really stupid. Emo Nien smiled and said, Miss Lu, there is no need to apologize. Our brothers are like this. You respect me a foot and I respect you a foot. But we will not be humble and courteous to anyone who provokes us. After all, it is our first time to be a man. I don't need to be used to anyone. After Emo Nien said this, Lu Ziyu realized that there was something wrong with her way of asking questions, but although she knew she was wrong, she could not apologize to others, so she had to keep her mouth shut. At this time, Chao Shieking's breath in the challenge arena became more and more powerful, more than twice as powerful as before, and there were bloody flames flowing around him. Boom! With a loud explosion, the motionless figure suddenly moved in the sea of blood behind Chao Shaoqing. A huge crocodile head emerged from the sea of blood, and then it opened its mouth and let out a roar. Boom! The roaring sound was like the roar of a tiger or a donkey. It sounded very strange and unpleasant, but the sound made the whole challenge arena roar and vibrate constantly, which was extremely powerful. Long Chen looked at the huge crocodile head. The whole man was stunned. His mouth was wide open. He couldn't believe his eyes. Buzz! Suddenly Chao Shaoqing retreated and kept a distance of hundreds of feet from Long Chen. At this time, he was wrapped in flames, and the sea of blood surged behind him. The surging blood made him as powerful as a warrior. Ha, oh boy, now you know you're afraid? Looking at Long Chen's gaping expression, Chao Shaoqing looked up and laughed. Dragon Dust stretched out a finger, pointed to the huge crocodile head, and said tentatively, You call it Taigu blood crocodile? Chao Shaking looked up and laughed. Yes, this is the invincible ancient blood crocodile in the ancient times. Thank you for making me into the strongest state. In return, I will tear you to pieces with my own hands, ha. I'm going to fuck you. Pa! Dragon Chen was so angry that he was like a ghost. He slapped Chao Shaoqing in the face. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4851 Long Chen suddenly burst into a rage, and the figure was like electricity. In the exclamation of countless people, Long Chen's big hand turned round and severely hit Chao Shaoqing in the face. With a loud noise, Chao Shieking's wild laughter was interrupted, the blood fog exploded, a face was snapped by dragon dust, and the whole person flew out with a spin. The sudden scene made the strong players on the scene dumbfounded. This turning point came too suddenly, and it was suddenly unacceptable. Long Chen had a look of disbelief before, and in a twinkling of an eye he was furious and hit people. Chao Shaoqing couldn't react at all, so he was slapped by Long Chen. There was a burst of boos from the strong players in the audience. They could not imagine how such a strange scene could have occurred in the duel between the world-famous Tianjiao. Brother Emo Nien, why is brother Long Chen angry? Yutong saw this and hurriedly asked. The Iron Blood sect is full of idiots. That's not ancient blood crocodiles at all. Emo Nien is also a dull face. For a while, he doesn't know how to explain it. Emo Nien looked at Chao Guofeng, the leader of the Iron Blood sect. At this time, Chao Guofeng looked angry. I don't know if he thought of the slap he had received because he saw it. Mo Nian could not help but sigh in his heart that originality is originality. Although he had learned this trick, he could not learn the essence. If it were him who was so far away and made a rash attack, this slap would never have hit the target. This is the gap. Mo Nian wanted to make a mockery of Chao Guofeng. He wanted to ask him what was the difference between Long Chen's slap on his face and that of Chao Shaoqing. But just as Mo Nian was about to speak, Chao Shaoqing had already got up from the challenge arena. He roared and rushed to Long Chen. "I will kill you. Fuck your father." Long Chen clenched his teeth and gave a fist. The dragon sang loudly. The bloody dragon scales on Long Chen slowly opened and kicked. Boom! In the exclamation of countless people, Chaos Shaking was kicked away by dragon dust, severely bumped into the boundary of the challenge arena, and then bumped into the ground of the challenge arena. He played several times before he stopped. Poof! Chao Shaoqing got up, and suddenly a mouthful of blood gushed out. The blood fell on the challenge arena, and even lit up a lot of smoke. The fierce smell of Warcraft made people tremble. Idiot, I wasted my feelings and made me wait for so long in vain. Do you call this thing Taiga Blood Crocodile? Long Chen angrily shouted, pointing to the huge crocodile head in the sea of blood behind Chao Shaoqing. Chaos Shaking seems to have been beaten and scared by Long Chen's anger. He shouted, "Isn't it called Archaic Blood Crocodile? Are you blind? Can't you see the archaic bloodlines on its teeth and feel its archaic power?" Dragon Chen roared, "Idiot, do you know that the archaic blood crocodile is a variant of the chaotic alien yellow spring blood crocodile? Once born, it has 72 teeth, 36 from top to bottom. Every tooth, no more or less, bears 7 blood amulets. Just because of these 7 blood amulets, the ancient blood crocodiles have to experience nirvana every 70,000 years. This nirvana robbery is the curse of the ghost emperor to the yellow spring blood crocodile. Although the archaic blood crocodile is a variant, it still has to bear this curse. After 70,000 years of nirvana, the Archean blood crocodile has only 10% chance to succeed. If it fails, it will disappear and never be reborn. Therefore, most of the ancient blood crocodiles cannot survive nirvana, but the runes on their teeth hide the secret of solving the power of nirvana. Because of this secret, the ancient blood crocodile has not become extinct. I have been waiting for you so long. Why do you show me this? Long Chen pointed at the head of the archaic blood crocodile and shouted abuse. The archaic blood crocodile was a horrible existence that Long Chen saw from the ancient books of the Academy. The power of nirvana is known as the strongest power and the highest secret in the world. Even the Phoenix and Phoenix families with the power of nirvana are incomplete. Long Chen has always been very curious about the power of nirvana, so when he heard that Chao Shaoqing had the blood essence of an ancient blood crocodile, Long Chen was full of expectation. However, the greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. Among the strong players, only Long Chen and Mo Nian knew the secret of the ancient blood crocodile. Long Chen learned the ancient blood crocodile from the ancient books of the Academy, and Mo Nian learned it from the murals of the catacombs. Therefore, when the archaic blood crocodile appeared, Long Chen and Mo Nian were stunned. Where is this ancient blood crocodile? Hearing Long Chen's explanation, people suddenly realized that when people looked at the vision behind Chao Shaoqing, they found that there were 28 teeth in the big mouth of the blood crocodile, and there was only one rune on the teeth. It really deserves to be the youngest dean in the history of Lingxiao Academy. He even knows such secrets like the back of his hand. Yulua clan leader could not help sighing that she only knew the origin of ancient blood crocodiles today. Chao Shaoqing angrily scolded, "You are talking nonsense. This is not an ancient blood crocodile. What is this?" "This is an ancient crocodile lizard, a hybrid of crocodiles and lizards. The crocodile blood in its blood has nothing to do with the ancient crocodile, you idiot." Dragon Dust cursed. "You are an idiot. You are obviously jealous of me and deliberately make up stories to confuse me. If I am cheated, I am an idiot. Go to hell." Chao Shaoqing roared. He suddenly fell on the ground. Then the giant crocodile in the vision behind him suddenly opened his mouth. Buzz, a bloody sword shot from the mouth of the giant crocodile and came straight to the dragon dust. Boom, dragon dust stopped drinking. In his vision, a huge dragon claw came out and grabbed the divine light. With a bang, the dragon claw grabbed the divine light. God, that's the monster's tongue. Someone screamed. People saw that the divine light was like a spirit snake spitting out messages. Thinking of what Dragon Chen had said before, people immediately believed 90% of what Dragon Chen said. Only snakes and lizards and other races could spit out messages to attack this magical power. Burst, dragon dust grasped it with his big hand, and the dragon claws trembled. The magic light caught by dragon dust exploded, and the tongue was pinched by dragon dust. Ah! Chaos Shaking uttered a bleak scream. Long Chen pinched his strange tongue, which was the same as crushing his tongue. It brought him great pain. The strong players on the viewing platform were numb at this time. This should have been a wonderful duel. How did it turn into a farce? It seemed a little boring. Come on. If you don't fight, you can't afford our tickets. What's the matter? Chao Shaoqing fight back. For a while, the whole audience erupted into strong dissatisfaction. They spent a lot of money watching the battle to learn and understand. In such a decisive battle, they could not benefit from Mao Zedong. Too lazy to waste time with you. Long Chen's face was gloomy. He walked towards Chao Shaoqing step by step. His eyes were full of cold and murderous intent. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4852, Damn Rubbish. What I get is the blood essence of the ancient blood crocodile. Go to hell. Chaos Shaking's face was ferocious and he gnashed his teeth. At this time, he had fallen into madness. Long Chen's words were a great blow to him. He could not imagine that the ancient blood crocodile, which he was always proud of, was a big joke. Let alone that he was spoiled by thousands of people. Even an ordinary person might not be able to stand it. Boom! The huge head in the vision behind Chao Shaoqing burst into blood and magic. Chao Shaoqing was killed by the dragon dust. The flames around Chao Shaoqing soared rapidly, and the whole challenge arena was wrapped in terrible blood and flame. Even across the border, people can still feel the terrible high temperature, which is shocking. Isn't this really an ancient blood crocodile? If not, how could the power of the vision be so terrible? Chaos Shaking moved. He stepped on the challenge arena, and his body turned into several illusions. At the same time, he jumped at the dragon dust. Idiot! When he saw Chao Shaking's action, Emon Yen could not help shaking his head. What? Chaos Shaking's figure killed Longchen at the same time from 8 different directions. The 8 figures' breath was the same, and their souls fluctuated equally. This is a very clever technique to confuse the enemy, but Emon Yen scoffed at it, which puzzled Lu Ziqiang. The 8 figures rushed to Long Chen. If they were ordinary strong men, they would certainly be in full readiness, because they were not sure which one was the real body, so they needed to take an absolute defensive stance. However, Long Chen stepped out and kicked one of them at the moment when he shot. Boom! With a bang, the other 7 figures disappeared instantly. The real Chaos Shaking was kicked in the chest by Long Chen, and his head was almost close to the soles of his feet, like a meteor, hitting the distant arena barrier. Bang! Chaos Shaking's buttocks hit the enchantment, and the sound of bone fracture spread throughout the audience. Chaos Shaking rolled on the ground continuously, and the pain made his forehead blue with pain, but he couldn't say a word. This. The strong men present all looked shocked. Is this man really Chaos Shaking of the Iron Blood sect? It seems that it is not as powerful as the legend. In front of Long Chen, there is no strength to fight back. This idiot, this art of shadow separation, at most deceives those rookies. He wants to deceive those of us who have been baptized by blood and fire all the year round. It's a fool's dream. Emon Yen shook his head. Emon Yen never thought that Chao Shaoqing would use such a low-level move to deal with Long Chen. Even if he is still injured, he can easily hold him with one hand. Emon Yen sees Yu Tong, Yu Fei and the Lu sisters looking at him in shock. Emon Yen is speechless for a while. Now he finally understands that the feelings of these people have too much to eat. They have no strength, but they can't be condensed into real lethality. Originally, both Emon Yen and Long Chen were full of expectations for this war, but they didn't expect that the other side was just a show-off, nothing at all. Ta-ta! Dragon dust moves towards chaos, shaking step by step. Every step falls like the beat in the murder overture. Every step forward, the breath of death is thicker. At this time, Chao Guofeng had already stood up. He never thought that Long Chen was so strong. Even if Chao Shaoqing wore the blood soul armor, he could not avoid being injured. When Gao Jianli saw that Long Chen was so strong, his face changed slightly, and he even lost interest in mocking Chao Guofeng. At the same time, he was a little uneasy. The Lord of Huangquan Pavilion and the Lord of Tianxin Hall could not help but be moved by it. What shocked them was not the power shown by Long Chen, but the smell without any flaws. Unlike chaos shaking, they did not grow up on the basis of Taiping food. When they were young, they also experienced a sea of corpses. Otherwise, they would not be in this position. What shocked them most was that Long Chen raised his hands and feet like nature. Even they couldn't find any flaws. However, Chao Shaoking's flaws must be revealed in front of the dragon dust. He has blood and soul armor, but he can't exert any power. The most frightening thing is that dragon dust's attacks always accurately catch Chao Shaoking's loopholes. When Chao Shaoqing laughs, his face armor will automatically retract to show his expression. This is the instinctive action of the blood soul armor, which was not deliberately manipulated by Chao Shaoqing. However, Long Chen seemed to be able to predict. At the moment when the armor retreated, he slapped him in the face. When the first kick was kicked at Chao Shaoqing, the landing point was the most difficult place to balance the armor strength. The second kick just now was even more terrifying. It looked like one kick, but it was actually two. The toe was lightly picked, which triggered the defense of blood soul armor. When the defense power passed, the heel of dragon dust was sent out. At that time, Chao Shaoking's defense power was the weakest, so one foot could kick dragon dust away and spit blood. As the saying goes, the layman watches the excitement while the layman watches the doorway. Most of the disciples of the divine realm do not see the subtlety. For example, the Lu sisters and Yutong Yufei all look confused, but this group of old folks see it. That's why Chao Guofeng stood up nervously. You know, even those old people who have lived for countless years can't do such exquisite control, but Long Chen is so relaxed and casual. It seems that Chao Shaoqing is going to die. Zhao Jianli looks at Long Chen walking towards chaos shaking step by step. Gao Jianli should have been happy, but at this time, he feels a bit chilly on his back. Has the message been sent? Gao Jianli suddenly asked. It was sent out long ago. The vice leader of Zichen's sect was shocked. Well, it's done. It's irretrievable. Let it go. Gao Jianli sighed. In fact, he regretted that he had seriously underestimated Long Chen and offended him, which was a very unwise act. If Long Chen died, it would be okay. If he didn't die, Zichen Zong would be very difficult to be at ease in the future. According to his estimation, the strength of Long Chen should be a little better than that of Chao Shaoqing. Even if he defeated Chao Shaoqing, he should do his best. But now, Long Chen didn't show his real skills at all. Chao Shaoqing had been beaten to the ground to find teeth. The gap between the two men was extremely huge. Now, seeing Long Chen's action, although Long Chen didn't come up with any amazing means, it can be judged by his action style that he is a real strong man who has come out of the battlefield of death. There is no way to compare him with Chao Shaoqing, a greenhouse flower. Even if the two are of equal strength, or even Chao Shaoqing is a little better, I'm afraid he will die in the hands of Long Chen. For a while, many people looked at Chao Guofeng and wondered if he would watch his descendants be killed. Damn it, do you think you can defeat me, chaos shaking? You are too naive. At this moment, a roar came, drawing people's attention back to the challenge arena. At this time, Chao Shaoqing held a magic weapon and pointed it at Long Chen. When he saw the magic weapon, the strong people on the scene could not help shrinking their pupils. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4853, that is. God, he took out the treasure of the iron blood gate. When they saw the weapon in Chao Shieking's hand, countless strong people in the scene exclaimed, and they all recognized the magic weapon. It was a war flag. The flagpole was a foot long. The tip of the flagpole was a sharp gun head, on which hung a flag. 10,000 runes were painted on the flag. Each rune was painted with thick blood. When the flag came out, it was fierce. People's souls trembled, and even some people had auditory hallucinations. It seemed that there were countless howls of fierce ghosts in their ears. Chao Shaoqing unexpectedly took out the 10,000 blood flag, the treasure of the iron blood gate. The 10,000 blood flag is said to be made of the blood essence of 10,000 Jiqiang races. Each rune represents a kind of super blood. It is said that this 10,000 blood flag is the most precious treasure obtained by the early leader of the Iron Blood sect in the battlefield of Burying Heaven. The 10,000 blood flag and the stone tablet of the blood-melting god are the treasures of the Iron Blood Gate. The first-generation sect leader of the Iron Blood Gate relied on these two things to create the Iron Blood Gate. This is too exaggerated. The Iron Blood sect leader not only gave his blood soul armor to Chao Shaoqing, but also took out the treasure of the town gate. This is too bullying. When the 10,000 blood flag came out, the whole viewing platform was bombed. The Iron Blood sect leader's means were too mean. This was not a fair fight at all. Brother Longchen. When hearing the voices of the people around, the two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, suddenly looked nervous and held their hands tightly. What a shame. When the rain fell and saw the iron blood flag, his face became cold. Chao Guofeng's methods were really disgusting. No matter how despicable he is, he can't change the ending in the end. It's meaningless. Mo Nian was not nervous at all, and his face was relaxed. Can Brother Longchen really deal with the terrible 10,000 blood flag? It's the inheritance treasure of the Iron Blood clan. Yutong said nervously. It's all right. I gave Dragon Dust something that can definitely block the 10,000 blood flag. Mo Nian is confident and authentic. Did you give the treasure to Brother Longchen? Can resist the 10,000 blood flag? The two sisters of Yutong were so shocked that their eyes widened. The sisters of Lu family couldn't believe their ears. Even the head of Yulua clan couldn't help but be moved by it. Mo Nian enjoyed the feeling of being watched. He smiled and said, "Don't worry. You can see it in a moment." The star bone claw that Mo Nian gave to Long Chen is definitely a treasure. Although it may not be able to compete with this 10,000 blood flag, it is sure to resist for a while. Dragon Dust, tell me, how do you want to die? With the 10,000 blood flag in his hand, Chao Shieking's voice became gloomy and terrifying. Strange lines also appeared in his eyes. At this time, he seemed to be a different person. Your flag looks good. Long Chen looked at the 10,000 blood flag in Chao Shieking's hand and was stunned. Unexpectedly, there was such a treasure in Chao Shieking's hand. Chao Shaoqing replied darkly, "This is the 10,000 blood flag, the treasure of our Iron Blood sect. It has 10,000 runes, all of which are made of super blood essence from the Taigu years. There are demon blood, animal blood, ghost blood, spirit blood, and of course your human blood. Every time it kills a strong one, it will suck up the opponent's blood essence. If the opponent is strong enough, it will squeeze out a rune on the 10,000 blood flag and become a new rune. Aren't you strong? Let me see if you are qualified to leave your mark on my 10,000 blood flag after killing you." At this time, Chao Shaoqing was no longer anxious and irritable. When the 10,000 blood flag was sacrificed, he was like possessed by a devil. Even his soul fluctuated differently. 10,000 blood flag? It sounds very powerful. Well, I admit that the tone was a little bad before. Dragon Dust suddenly became calm. The performance of Long Chen immediately made countless strong men boo. They thought that Long Chen was afraid and began to beg for mercy. Seeing the appearance of Long Chen, Chao Shaoqing looked up and laughed. "Haha, aren't you hard-spoken? What about your arrogance? What about your arrogance?" Long Chen waved his hand and said, "In fact, this is all a misunderstanding. As a person, I can't get up early without profit. The reason why I was angry before was that I was cheated by your so-called ancient blood crocodile, and I felt uncomfortable. After all, I am at least the branch dean of Lingxiao Academy. I am also a person of status. How can I fight with others? No matter how bad it is, you have to earn some appearance fees, right? The so-called no profit, no early rise. Everyone's time is so precious. You can understand my anger just now. However, it's different now. Although I can't see the original crocodile pattern of the archaic blood crocodile, it's not too bad to have this 10,000 blood flag as compensation. Well, in order to save time, you give me your 10,000 blood flag, and then you kill yourself. Do you think it is feasible? After hearing Long Chen's words, both Chaos Shaking on the stage and the others on the viewing platform opened their mouths wide, and they began to doubt their ears. Speaking the most arrogant and domineering words in the lowest level tone makes people feel strange. The whole picture looks so awkward. Chaos Shaking was stunned for several breaths before he finally sorted out the central idea of Long Chen's words. He was calm and his anger rose again. Go to hell, Chao Shaoqing roared, and the 10,000 blood flags trembled in his hands. The flagpole was used as a long gun and stabbed at the dragon dust. This attack broke out, tens of thousands of blood flowed on the 10,000 blood flag, the war flag seemed to come alive, and the fierce breath roared out. In this 10,000 blood flag, 10,000 kinds of blood essence are sealed. These blood essence also contain the resentment of their owners. When the 10,000 blood flag is launched, this fierce soldier will show its terror. 10,000 blood is boiling. They will pour out all their grievances and tear the target to pieces. Unlike the blood soul armor, the 10,000 blood flag can be controlled only by cultivating the blood melting magic skill to a certain level. Once the magic weapon comes out, it will not return without the blood. Even without the power of Chao Shaoqing, it can still break out into amazing power. It's over. Chao Gufeng on the viewing platform had a gloomy smile on his lips. He was worried that Chao Shaoqing could not activate the killing will of the 10,000 blood flag. But unexpectedly, the 10,000 blood flag woke up automatically because of the dragon dust. Obviously, the blood essence of the dragon dust stimulated the appetite of the 10,000 blood flag. The 10,000 blood flag pierces the void, and 10,000 blood flows. It is like a life-threatening robbery, directly stabbing the dragon dust. What? When the long gun approached Long Chen, people saw that Long Chen did not take out his weapon, but smashed the 10,000 blood flag with one fist. At that moment, everyone was shocked. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4854, Buzz. At the moment when Long Chen gave his fist, the dragon in the divine ring behind him suddenly trembled, and the dragon scales of Long Chen turned out slightly. The runes on each dragon scale quickly lit up and darkened. However, before it became dark, it pushed all its energy to the dragon scales in front of it. The dragon scales pushed one by one, such as rivers flowing into the sea. The power of the scales was transmitted to the fist of dragon dust. When the fist of dragon dust collided with the 10,000 blood flag, a dragon pattern appeared on the fist of dragon dust. Boom! Under the intense gaze of countless people, Long Chen's fist suddenly collided with the 10,000 blood flag, with a startling explosion, overlapping waves, and the whole world shook. Hiss! In the exclamation of countless people, the figure of Long Chen retreated. His feet were firmly on the ground, and two long marks were marked on the ground. He didn't stop until he retreated to the edge of the challenge arena. Call. At this time, the fierce, vigorous wind passed to the observation platform. Lu Ziqiong and others hurriedly seized the seats. The roaring, vigorous wind tore their bodies, as if to tear them to pieces. Mo Nian reaches out and grabs Yutong and Yufei, and resists part of the impact for them. This impact is of great benefit to them, so Mo Nian doesn't stop them all. However, many of the other strong players on the war-watching platform were shocked to bleed at the corners of their mouths because they could not bear the terrible strong wind. Some even began to feel dizzy and almost fainted. Despite these, people still stared at the challenge arena. Chao Shaoqing kept attacking, and the 10,000 blood flag pointed directly at Long Chen. In the challenge arena, 2 traces of dragging extended to the edge of the challenge arena. Long Chen was standing there. He looked at his fist, while other strong men looked at him in shock. Oh my God, it's blocked. What kind of monster is this? Blocking the 10,000 blood flag with your fist? Is the world crazy? What level of power and body is this? Everyone saw that there was nothing wrong with Long Chen, and even his hair was not a bit messy. All of a sudden he blew up his nest. That's the famous 10,000 blood flag. It's a magic weapon handed down from ancient times. It has killed many powerful heavenly saints. Such a terrible fierce soldier was blocked by people with fists. That's great. My fists are skinned. Long Chen looked at his fist and said with emotion on his face. At this time, the scales on Dragon Dust's fist turned outward, and there was a faint overflow of blood, but there was no flow. Dragon Chen's words almost made countless people vomit blood. It's too strong to pretend. It's just that he broke the skin and boasted that people were powerful. It's killing people. An Chao Gufeng on the war-watching platform, his face changed again, and a strong unease rose in his mind. This Dragon Dust is a monster. No, I have to help Xiaoqing. Chao Gufeng suddenly sat down. At this time, several strong men of the Iron Blood sect quietly surrounded him and blocked the sight of the people around him while everyone was focusing on the challenge arena. At this time, Chao Gufeng began to seal quietly. That blow just now was just my trial blow. You are too happy. Facing the provocation of Long Chen, Chao Xiaoqing's face was gloomy. Your eyes are good. You can even tell I'm happy. Well, I won't pretend. I'm going to use weapons. Long Chen smiled and stretched out his big hand. Buzz, the dark keel evil moon appeared in the hands of Long Chen. At that moment, the whole audience was shocked. The fierce and domineering appearance of the keel evil moon and the evil gas in its bones startled everyone. God, the evil spirit of this knife is stronger than the 10,000 blood flag. Someone exclaimed. Although they don't know the origin of the dragon bone evil moon, judging from its evil spirit, they know that it must be a terrible killing army. What are you doing? It's said that I'm in seclusion. Don't do anything. Oh, I'll go. The dragon bone evil moon was summoned out by Dragon Dust and interrupted the seclusion. She was angry and wanted to swear. But when he saw the 10,000 blood flag across the street, he became excited. Good guy, this is a hard dish. Dragon Dust, you really have it. From rage and swearing to ecstasy, the keel evil moon completed the transformation in an instant, and the Dragon Dust was so angry that he wanted to throw it away. Dragon Chen angrily said, I summoned you because I thought this weapon should be useful to you. Otherwise, I can deal with it with the Star Bone Claw. You are a guy who will swear indiscriminately. I won't give you any good next time. No, I'm just getting out of bed. It'll be fine after that. Who are we kidding? Why are you so anxious? The keel evil moon was in a good mood, and her tone was full of laughter. Long Chen was not really angry. He said in a deep voice, the 10,000 blood flag belongs to the old man in the stands. We only have one chance to get it. If we don't take it, the old guy will take it away. Now that the old guy is hiding, he must not be holding back any good farts. How about you? Do you have any good ideas? Hey, no problem. I'm sure I can succeed at one time. As long as I swallow the energy of the 10,000 blood flag, my strength will be further. Then I should be able to digest the energy of the Imperial Blood Silk Net. Keel evil moon he said with a smile. Tell me about the plan, Dragon Dust Road. Bang bang. While Long Chen was communicating with the Dragon Bone evil moon, it seemed to people outside that Long Chen was lost in thought and thought that Long Chen was trying to deal with the 10,000 blood flag. At this time, Chao Xiaoqing, holding the 10,000 blood flag, came to Long Chen step by step. Each step he took was like a mountain falling heavily on the challenge arena. With his steps, the blood runes on the 10,000 blood flag lit up one by one, like a sleeping beast, slowly waking up. Call. Suddenly the dragon dust moved, and the dragon's keel evil moon pointed to Xiaoqing, who was walking slowly, and sneered, Are you imitating me? Unfortunately, Third Master Long has been imitated all the time, but has never been surpassed. Since you love imitation so much, I will give you another chance to imitate me. Dragon Dust suddenly stooped down, and the man was in a squatting state. The keel Evil Moon pointed down, and suddenly stabbed the earth. Hiss! To everyone's surprise, the Dragon Bone Evil Moon stabbed straight into the challenge arena. When seeing this scene, even the city's chief criminal Wu Jiang could not help shrinking his pupils, and others were even more shocked. How could it be? He broke the challenge arena. That's the Holy Ghost Bone. Even if it's a holy weapon, it's hard to destroy it without the use of a strong saint. When they saw the Dragon Bone Evil Moon stabbing into the challenge arena, the whole audience was shocked, but a more shocking scene appeared. Boom! On the keel Evil Moon, a sky-opening rune lit up, and the cracks were dense. With the keel Evil Moon as the core, it spread rapidly in all directions. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4855. Is this really all right? Dragon Dust stabbed the Dragon Bone Evil Moon into the challenge arena of the nebula. He felt that the Dragon Bone Evil Moon was absorbing the strength of these bone bricks. He couldn't help feeling a little uneasy. Why not? Anyway, they can continue to collect these bone bricks. Why not take advantage of them if they are cheap? You pay attention. I'm going to turn on the opening day rune to the extreme. This time, they'll take the lead. You don't have to worry about anything. Dragon Bone Evil Moon Family. Up to now, the Dragon Dust has no choice but to let the Dragon Bone Evil Moon Crazy absorb the power of the Magic Bone Rune to activate the Sky Opening Rune. Ka. The bone hit by the Dragon Bone Evil Moon stab turned and cracked, and the cobweb-like cracks spread in all directions. The Nebula Challenge Arena can accurately estimate a person's destructive power. I haven't heard of anyone who can destroy the Challenge Arena. Someone exclaimed. There are even some powerful saints who have lived for endless years, watched countless duels, and never seen anyone destroy the challenge arena. But this kind of thing happened before their eyes, and the iron rule of the Nebula Challenge Arena was broken. The estimation of the Xingyun Challenge Arena is wrong. Either the Dragon Dust has a unique skill or controls a super magic weapon, which is beyond the estimation range of the Xingyun Challenge Arena. This Dragon Dust is terrible. One of the heavenly saints could not help sighing. There have been mistakes in the Nebula Challenge Arena, but even the most recent one was millions of years ago, so long that countless people have forgotten it. And that time, the damage was just a piece of heavenly holy bone brick, but the posture of Long Chen at this time was even more frightening. Boom! The second sky opening rune on the Dragon Bone Evil Moon lit up, followed by the third and fourth. The bone bricks at the foot of Dragon Dust exploded one by one, and they decayed instantly without the power of runes. As the Dragon's Keel Evil Moon absorbed those runes, the cobweb-like cracks quickly spread to the whole challenge arena. Endless power rushed into the Dragon Bone Evil Moon madly, and all the 7 heaven-opening runes on the Dragon Bone Evil Moon lit up. At this time, 2 black dragon shadows appeared on the Dragon Bone Evil Moon, intertwined with each other on the blade. Boom! A violent explosion broke all the bone bricks in the challenge arena. When Long Chen raised the keel to the Evil Moon, the shadow of the knife rose into the sky. Poof! The huge shadow of the sword pierced the boundary of the challenge arena and went straight into the 9 heaven. Its fierce killing intention made the stars sway and shake forever. Bad. When he saw this scene, Chao Guofeng, who was sitting on the challenge arena, felt bad for the first time. He suddenly took a mouthful of blood and did not care to attract others' attention. He grasped the blood with both hands and condensed a blood rune on his hands. Open the sky, 7 in 1. Dragon Dust stopped drinking with a sound, and the human saber was integrated. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon, carrying endless magic power, cut down quickly. The Dragon's Keel Evil Moon roared away, oppressing thousands of Taoism, and the laws of heaven and earth collapsed under this blow. With this saber, even the Dragon Dust felt his scalp numb. In the past, Long Chen used to cast the 7 moves in one, but there was a big gap with the sword cast by the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon absorbed all the strength of the bone patterns in the challenge arena, and used the power of these runes to urge the saber. When the long saber cut at Qiao Shaoqing was stunned. At this time, he felt that he was a mole ant. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not escape the fate of being killed. No, the sect leader saved me. In the face of Dragon Dust's terrifying saber, to everyone's surprise, Chaos Shaking gave up, cried and ran back. This fool, when Qiao Shaoqing gave up resistance, Qiao Gufeng was shocked and angry, and roared, "Pick up the 10,000 blood flag to resist." The boundary of the challenge arena was pierced by Long Chen's sword, and the outside voice could be spread to the challenge arena. At this time, Qiao Shaoqing seemed to calm down a lot when he heard Qiao Gufeng's order. He turned around, held a 10,000 blood flag in front of him, and slammed into Long Chen's sword. Buzz! Suddenly, a bloody rune appeared on the flagpole of the 10,000 blood flag, which was the same as the rune held by Qiao Gufeng on the viewing platform. Control the magic army from space? Are you ashamed of the Iron Blood sect? At this time, Yuluan noticed Qiao Gufeng's action. At this time, the 4 elders of the Yuling clan, with their long bows in their hands, wanted to attack Qiao Gufeng and interrupt his support. Master, don't get excited. Give it to Long Chen. Emo Nian hurried to stop. When Emo read this greeting, when the 4 elders hesitated, they heard a startling explosion on the challenge arena, and the Dragon Bone Evil Moon was severely chopped on the 10,000 blood flag. Boom! People were shocked to find that the 10,000 blood flag was cut into 2 parts by the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon continued to grow and cut it on Qiao Shaoqing. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon just touched a bit of Qiao Shaoking's scalp. Qiao Shaoking's body suddenly burst open, and his blood and soul armor collapsed. It was not over yet. The huge shadow of the sword extended beyond the challenge arena and was chopped on the viewing mat. Boom! The war-watching table was split by Dragon Dust. Fortunately, the place where Dragon Dust cut was a corridor, and no one was sitting. The people on both sides of the aisle were scared out of their wits. Their hair stood up and their mouths were open enough to put down their fists. They trembled and dared not move. One saber startled the world, and one strike deterred all the heroes. Even the strong man of the heavenly sage was frightened by this saber, and he was so scared that he trembled all over. For a moment, the whole audience was silent. The Dragon Dust still kept the action of chopping. The 10,000 blood flags that were broken in 2 under the Dragon Bone Evil Moon had already lost their original luster, and even the 10,000 blood amulets on the flags had disappeared completely. The whole challenge arena has been broken. It has long lost its former magnificent appearance. People look at the shadow of Long Chen and all show their shocked eyes. This saber finally makes everyone understand why Long Chen can become the youngest dean of the first academy in the history of the world. Poof! Suddenly, someone's blood spurted wildly, breaking the silence. People followed the reputation and saw the Iron Blood sect leader Qiao Gufeng's blood spurting wildly on the viewing platform belonging to the Iron Blood sect, which caused the strong men of the Iron Blood sect to cry out. Ha! The Dragon Bone Evil Moon made a burping sound. Ilgo! This meal is too rich. These bone lines and blood symbols are what I need most at present. Cool. At this time, the Dragon Bone Evil Moon was satisfied. Although Long Chen didn't know what these things meant to the Dragon Bone Evil Moon, he could know from his tone that this guy made a lot of money this time. Call. Dragon Chen threw the dragon's keel at the evil moon, carried it on his shoulder, turned slowly, looked at Qiao Gufeng with his nostrils, and said lazily, "Hey, the guy I slapped in the face, if you don't agree, you can send your Iron Blood sect disciples to challenge me again, or you can go on the stage in person." When the voice of Long Chen fell, the eyes of the audience turned to Qiao Gufeng for a moment. At that moment, the air became solidified. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4856. At this time, Qiao Gufeng was gnashing his teeth and killing the sky. Although Qiao Shaoking's death made him sad, compared with the loss of the 10,000 blood flag, Chao Shaoqing seemed so insignificant. The 10,000 blood flag, which was the foundation of the Iron Blood clan to settle down, was destroyed in this way. It was the inherited magic weapon of the Iron Blood clan, which suppressed the chi of the Iron Blood clan. Its destruction was an unacceptable loss to the Iron Blood clan. Previously, he used the power of blood and soul to control the 10,000 blood flag in the air. At the moment when the 10,000 blood flag collapsed, he was also badly hurt. Although he apparently suppressed the injury, this kind of disguise could not hide from the Tianxing-level strongmen such as Yulua, and also from the fierce-eyed Dragon Dust. If the former Dragon Dust had killed Chaos Shaking, it would have come to an end. However, today's Dragon Dust has resumed its previous determination to kill Chao Shaoqing. He is no longer hesitant and will not look back. Now that we have identified the enemy, we must kill them all, because people like the Iron Blood clan, who have integrated the blood family lineage, can no longer be said to be human. All the blood flowing in their bodies is evil. Hey, how dare you fight? You fart. You keep your mouth shut. Have you had diarrhea? Long Chen, carrying the Dragon Bone Evil Moon, walked around the broken challenge arena. With that appearance, he did not pay any attention to Chao Guofeng. Long Chen was so arrogant and domineering that he challenged the heavenly sage who was the sect leader with his spirit of respecting the territory. This kind of courage made countless strong people present worship him. Dragon Dust has never seen such a strong pride in their life since it appeared in their vision and constantly challenged their imagination. In a fierce battle, countless Tianjiao were overwhelmed by the peerless demeanor of Dragon Dust. The two sisters, Yutong and Yufei, were full of stars in their eyes. If they hadn't retained a trace of maiden reserve, they would have cheered and shouted. Even the leader of Yuluo's clan was so excited that even she was distracted. The power of Long Chen was beyond her expectation. Long Chen really had the strength to challenge the powerful. Dragon Dust, you deceive people too much. Facing the challenge of Dragon Dust, before Chao Guofeng answered, an angry voice jumped out. When people looked for the owner of the voice, they found that this sentence was shouted by Mo Nian, which confused countless people. Isn't this guy with Long Chen? Before the people knew what was going on, Mo Nian scolded Long Chen. Do you have a sense of public morality? How old is Chao Guofeng? Are you proud of bullying an old man who has lost a piece one step at a time? You have slapped him in the face before, and now you have killed his descendants. You have also beaten and killed them. Now you are forcing others to fart. Are you too bullying? When Mo Nyang opened his mouth, people suddenly became speechless. Mo Nyang was so destructive that Long Chen killed people. He was killing people. On the surface, he was accusing Long Chen. In fact, he was mercilessly exposing the scars of Chao Guofeng. Mo Nian continued to scold with righteous indignation. Can't you see that the current sect leader Chao has been injured? If he plays, he won't be beaten into a dog by you? Why, are you afraid that Chao Shaoqing will be lonely on the road? Send the sect leader Chao down to accompany him? Then you might as well send all the people of the Iron Blood sect down. Shut up, Chao Guofeng roared like thunder. Mo Nian angrily said, Hey, you old deng, why don't you distinguish good from bad? I'm just talking for you. Roll, Chao Guofeng sent out a hysterical roar. As a result, the hoarse roar made countless strong men present see the clue. It seems that this guy's injury is more serious than I expected. He doesn't dare to go on stage. A smile appeared on the head of the clan in the rain. The hoarse broken voice indicates that he is short of breath. Under the attack of anger, his injury cannot be suppressed. At this time, he could not even use half of his usual strength, let alone urge the Blood God Monument. At this time, he had no chance of winning the Dragon Dust. The Dragon Bone Evil Moon in the hands of Long Chen was full of pressure. Although everyone did not know the origin of this evil weapon, the shape of the Dragon Bone Evil Moon alone was enough to scare the audience. Without the blood-melting God Monument, Chao Guofeng absolutely did not dare to face the Dragon Dust Dragon Bone Evil Moon. Therefore, Yulua clan leader concluded that Chao Guofeng must not dare to go to the challenge arena. Chao Guofeng looked gloomy and said, Damn boy, you just used evil methods to extract the power of the runes of the Xingyun Challenge Arena, and then destroyed my 10,000 blood flag. Now there is no strength of the Challenge Arena to bless you. It doesn't take much effort to kill you. As soon as he said this, the strong man remembered what had happened before, and suddenly realized that everything was just like what Chao Guofeng said. Long Chen stole the strength of the Challenge Arena and killed Chao Shaoqing. This was really a trick, and this opportunity will never happen again. Then please, respected sect leader Chao, come up and blow it? In the face of Chao Guofeng's ridicule, Long Chen shrugged his shoulders and spoke faintly. Chao Guofeng's mouth showed a gloomy smile. I don't need to kill you at all. You maliciously destroy the Xingyun Challenge Arena and steal the divine magic talisman. According to the law of the demon-subduing city, you should be punished. You are already a prisoner and have lost the qualification to fight with me. You will be greeted by Fang Tianyin. Suddenly, a gold seal appeared in Chao Guofeng's hand. As soon as the gold seal appeared, the whole challenge arena trembled. Then on the top of Dragon Chen's head, endless stars circulated, as if a sky had been pressed down. Boom! Before Long Chen knew what was going on, he suddenly sank. The challenge arena at the foot of Long Chen exploded, forming a huge pit. At that moment, Long Chen couldn't move. Death-seeking, the rain fell and became angry. She suddenly got up, and a green long bow appeared in her hand. The long bow was pulled open, and a dark arrow appeared, pointing directly at Chao Guofeng. The elder of Yuling clan behind her also had a full moon bow. Let go of dragon dust, or you will die. When the rain fell, his face was cold and his killing power was exposed. When is it your turn to deal with the affairs of our demon-subduing city? Long Chen broke the rules of our demon-subduing city. He should be punished and suppressed. At this time, the Lord of Tianxin Hall stood out, and there was also a gold seal in her hand. The gold seal was shining, and the dragon dust on the challenge arena immediately felt the pressure superimposed, and the challenge arena under her feet was cracked in a large area. It turns out that besides the main seal, there are 4 sub-seals, which are respectively in the hands of the 4 city guards. They can use part of the power of the seal, which is the privilege granted to them by the seal. Lord, dragon dust is in trouble. You should help him. Seeing that both forces began to use the power of Fang Tianyin to suppress dragon dust, Lu Ziqiang hurried to Gao Jianli for help. To Lu Ziqiang's satisfaction, Gao Jianli took out the gold seal. If Gao Jianli used the gold seal to help Long Chen, he could offset the pressure of a gold seal. Boom! However, to Lu Ziqiang's horror, when Gao Jianli's golden seal shone, the pressure of dragon dust did not decrease. Instead, the challenge arena shook suddenly, and the bones of dragon dust were crunched. Lord! At that moment, Lu Ziqiang's eyes shone with unbelievable light. The rules are the rules and the law is the law. The dragon dust broke the rules. As a city keeper, how can I practice favoritism and malpractice? Gao Jianli hummed. It's really a group of people who don't know what to do. It seems that you want us to bury the demon-subduing city. At this moment, the meditation was also angry, and the killing intention was moving in the eyes. I was just about to make an action. Buzz, suddenly Gao Jianli, the leader of Tianxin Pavilion, and Chao Guofeng groaned at the same time, and their bodies shook. The terrible pressure disappeared in a moment. Xing Wujiang, what do you mean? Chao Guofeng looks at Xing Wujiang and roars. At this time, Xing Wujiang holds a purple and gold seal in his hand. It is he who removes the pressure from Long Chen. For a moment, everyone looks at Xing Wujiang. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4857. Originally, Long Chen could not move under the pressure of terror. He was furious and was about to summon the Heaven and Earth tripod. He didn't believe that this Heaven seal could be better than the Heaven and Earth tripod. Even though Qian Kuanding was still in a weak state, he was confident to rely on the divine power of Qian Kuanding and escape from the suppression of Fang Tianyin. The reason why Long Chen is angry is that he didn't expect that Gao Jianli also participated in the suppression. This guy took advantage of him and even killed him. However, before Long Chen could do it, Xing Wujiang did it. The gold seal in Xing Wujiang's hand was exactly the same as that in Gao Jianli's hand, but it was not gold, but noble purple gold. As soon as this seal came out, the three people's bodies shook violently. The pressure on Long Chen disappeared in an instant and he regained his freedom. When Xing Wujiang shot, Long Chen and Emon Yen stopped, but Gao Jianli and others' faces changed. Chao Guofeng shouted loudly, "Xing Wujiang, as the city master, did you commit malpractices for personal gain and break the rules of the demon-subduing city? Dragon dust maliciously destroys the Nebula Challenge Arena and extracts the magic Saint Rune. 8 out of 10 are evil spies. Are you not afraid of being punished by Fong Tianyin if you do so?" The Lord of the Heavenly Heart Hall shouted loudly. "Chao, the Dean of Lingxiao Academy is a spy of the Demon Clan? Can you use your brain when you lie?" Emon Yen could not help scolding. The Lord of Tianxin Hall immediately said something to her. She didn't speak in her head and was seized by Emon Yen. However, her words had been spoken out and could not be taken back. She still insisted, "So what? The Demon Clan is everywhere. Who can guarantee that he is not a spy?" Emon Yen was about to retort, and Xing Wujiang said coldly, "I am the city master, and I have the right to deal with dragon dust. If you don't agree, you can appeal to Fong Tianyin, who is in seclusion. However, I want to remind you that no matter how much you covet my position, before you become the city master, don't shout at me. Otherwise, once I get angry, even Fong Tianyin can't protect you." You. Xing Wujiang wanted to protect the dragon dust, which made Chao Guofeng shocked and angry. If Xing Wujiang wanted to protect the dragon dust, they really had nothing to do. Although they had heard that there was something wrong with Xing Wujiang's health, they could not see the difference at this time. Xing Wujiang had no children. He must be handed over as the future city lord. However, if Xing Wujiang was forced to hurry, he might really do something irrational, and they did not dare to force him too much. Can the city lord break the rules at will? Although you are the city lord, you didn't set the rules of the demon-subduing city. You want to change the rules. Have you asked your ancestors? At this time, a voice was heard, and then a dozen figures appeared on the challenge arena at the same time. As soon as these people appeared, the temperature in the whole challenge arena rose rapidly. It was like being in a furnace. All the strong people in the arena were shocked. When Long Chen saw these people, he couldn't help but be shocked. These people were wearing Chinese robes, with a red tripod painted on their chest. Above the red tripod was a golden pill like the rising sun. The collars, cuffs and belts of these people's clothes are painted with golden flame patterns. The patterns are not ordinary patterns, but terror runes. Although Long Chen is well informed, he is the first time to see runes that can be painted on silk clothes. The more powerful a rune is, the more powerful it needs a carrier. Otherwise, it can't bear it at all. General runes can only be engraved on metal objects such as weapons and war armor, or on the bones of the strong. At worst, they also need to be painted on animal skins, which are often the limit to bear runes. However, the clothes of these people can be engraved with runes, and they are also extremely terrible runes, which shows that the material of these people's clothes is extremely amazing. Brahma Valley? When seeing these people appear, Yulua clan leader's pupils shrink. She didn't expect that the 16 heavenly saints of Brahma's valley would suddenly come to the city of subduing demons. Moreover, looking at the posture, it seems that it is specifically aimed at Xing Wujiang. Xing Wujiang was surprised to see these powerful Elixir Valley men. He snorted coldly, "The city of subduing demons and Vatican Dangu have never crossed the river. What do you mean by your sudden appearance? Do you want to intervene in the battle between the city masters of the city of subduing demons?" Among the strong men of Brahman's valley, a tall, white-faced middle-aged man shook his head and said, "Let me introduce myself. I come from the fire shrine of Brahma Valley. My family name is Jiang and my name is Ijo. I work as the blood department of the temple protection department and deal with some problems for Brahma Valley. We are not interested in your position as the city leader. We received the news that Gao Jian left the sect leader and came to arrest the dragon dust. The words of Jiang Yizhou from Brahman's Valley immediately made everyone look at Gao Jianli, who was furious. He had agreed to ask Brahma Valley to help him keep it a secret, but unexpectedly, Jiang Yizhou said it in front of everyone, so that everyone knew he was a snitch. Lord! Lu Ziqiang and Lu Ziyu, the two sisters, stared at Gao Jianli dumbfounded. They were stunned. Gao Jianli said, "Dragon Dust is the wanted criminal of the valley. Our Zichen clan has been supported by the pills of the valley. We can't repay him. It's just a small effort to help a wanted prisoner. It's not worth mentioning." Zhou Jianli's words made Longchen angry and cold. If a person has a complete face, he will never say such brazen words. If you want to hold the stinky feet of Brahmadante Valley, are you not afraid of the destruction of your Zichen sect? Longchen's words immediately made the veins on Gao Jianli's forehead burst. It has to be said that Longchen's words were too powerful and stabbed Gao Jianli's scar. Gao Jianli's half-face was taken away by a horrible demon in a fierce battle. After countless years, Gao Jianli tried his best to recover. This is the pain of Gao Jianli's life. Anyone who dares to joke about his shortcomings will be brutally killed by him. Even if he talks behind his back, or even the strange look in his eyes, he will bear a grudge. Even if he doesn't do it himself, he will order his men to kill him. In fact, Gao Jianli only needs to make a mask to cover up this defect, but he just doesn't do that. He hopes that others will recognize him and is afraid that others will laugh at him. This is an irrepressible contradiction. Now the complete face in the mouth of Long Chen is equivalent to tearing his scar, and it is torn in front of everyone in the demon-subduing city. The murderous intention in his eyes can no longer be hidden. "Damn little bastard, you will pay a heavy price for your smelly mouth." Gao Jianli's face was gloomy. "I will cut off your head before I pay the price." Dragon Chen's anger was boiling for a moment. He would never allow anyone to insult his parents. The dragon's keel evil moon was in his hand, and he cut off Gao Jianli with a knife. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Chapter 4858. No one expected that Long Chen would do it as soon as he said he would. The most important thing is that he was facing the leader of Zichen clan, Gao Jianli. Even Gao Jianli didn't expect that Long Chen was so brave that he would not hesitate to fight when so many heavenly saints came. When he reacts, the dragon bone evil moon has arrived at his front door. Facing the dragon dust, even he doesn't dare to trust him, but it's too late to use weapons. Buzz, one hand was stretched out, and the blood color of the palm was flowing. He had no time to use the weapon. He directly condensed a blood color shield with the power of blood essence. Boom! With a bang, the dragon's keel evil moon cut on the blood shield, and the blood shield easily blocked the dragon dust knife, which immediately surprised countless people. How brave was the dragon dust before? Now this saber is empty but feeble. Is it true that he is at the end of his power after a big war? After Gao Jianli blocked the knife, he immediately felt something bad. He didn't want to think about it. The shield was pushed forward and the man retreated quickly. "Since you are shameless, I will help you." The cold voice of the dragon was like the murmur of the hell emissary. Another big hand had grabbed Gao Jianli's cheek. Hiss! The blood spattered. There was a piece of flesh and blood on the claws of the dragon dust. That flesh and blood was the other half of Gao Jianli's face. Ah! Although Zhou Jianli successfully retreated, half of his face was forcibly torn off by Long Chen. The great pain and shame made him roar like a beast. People looked at Gao Jianli, whose face was covered with flesh and blood, leaving only bones. Their scalp was numb. The dragon dust was too cruel. Boom! As soon as the dragon dust and the dragon claw were pinched, the face was directly broken into powder under the power of the dragon dust. Buzz! The dragon's keel evil moon points directly at Gao Jianli, and the dragon dust is cold. Well, now you don't have to worry about your face. If you have any tricks, just come out and see if the third master will be afraid of you. Well done. This is the dragon dust I am familiar with. This is a real man. Looking at this scene, Emo Nian is not afraid of big things. He stands up and applauds Long Chen. Although Emo Nien didn't spend much time with Long Chen, they treated each other wholeheartedly. Even Emo Nien knew Long Chen better than most people in the Dragon Blood Corps. At this time, Long Chen is unmatched in his domineering manner and acts with no taboos. He finally finds his original self and is no longer affected by the demons. Emo Nien is very excited, but he has contributed to it. Dead Gao Jianli roared, his arms shook, the viewing platform beside him exploded, and even the strong people of Zichen sect around him were forcibly shocked. At this time, he was crazy. Boom, a huge axe appeared in Gao Jianli's hand. Gao Jianli was already huge, but the huge axe was bigger than him. This axe attracted countless strong men to exclaim, "Zichen axe, it is also the Zhenzong treasure of Zichen sect." As soon as it appears, the purple magic light covers the whole world, and the violent pressure points directly at the dragon dust. Call. Facing Gao Jianli, Long Chen shouldered the dragon bone evil moon on his shoulder. His waist was slightly bent and his back was slightly bent. He was like a cheetah ready to go. His eyes were staring at Gao Jianli. In his eyes, there was no fear and tension, but only the murderous intention. When, in his fury, Gao Jianli raised his huge axe to kill Long Chen. Suddenly, a dark light hit him like lightning. Gao Jianli roared, and the huge axe stood in front of him as a shield. Boom! With a bang, an arrow hit the huge axe and burst into pieces. However, the huge force pushed Gao Jian back all the way, smashing countless watching seats. A large viewing platform was torn into 2 pieces by him. When Gao Jianli retreated, there were still many strong people sitting there. Seeing Gao Jianli flying, they were scared to flee one after another. They were in a panic all the way. Countless strong men looked at the rain falling in the distance. At this time, she was holding a long bow, her face was cold, and her bowstring was still trembling. It was obvious that she shot the arrow. People can't help but be shocked. Although many people have heard that the clan leader of the Yuling clan is terrible, and his strength is not under the 4 cities. Now, her skill startled 4 people. The arrows she shot before had been shattered by the Zichen axe, but the power it contained shocked countless people. I haven't moved my muscles and bones for a long time, and my strength has decreased a lot. However, I use the Yuling soul-destroying arrow next, which should increase my strength 10 times. I want to try whether I can kill you with this blow. Yulua clan leaders said as if nothing had happened. After that, her jade hands opened, and 3 arrows appeared in her hands. The 3 arrows rotated between Yuluo's snow-white fingers, forming a beautiful arc of light. Buzz, I don't know what method the clan leader Yulua used. No one can see how she pulled the bow string. At this moment, the bow is like a full moon. 3 arrows have been placed on the bow string, pointing straight at the high sword. Above the 3 arrows, the rune flows. In the front section of the arrow, there is a faint cyclone winding. At the moment when the bowstring is pulled open, the strong people on the scene feel that their scalp is tight, as if their souls have been drawn in. Handsome. Seeing this scene, Emo Nien shouted excitedly, and his eyes were full of worship. Emo Nien is also an expert at using bows. His main weapon is also bows and arrows. However, his attention is not focused on the Yulua clan leader's bow, nor on the Yuling soul-destroying arrow, but on the beautiful gesture of the Yulua clan's arrow dancing at the fingertips. I want to learn. This move is so handsome that I can't let Dragon Chen steal the spotlight from me in the future. No, I have to learn more from the Yulua clan leader. She must have more gorgeous tricks to pull the wind. Emo Nien shook his fist and looked excited. From Emo Nien's point of view, it doesn't matter whether it is powerful or not. The important thing is to pull the wind and attract attention. It's best to be handsome enough to make countless people scream. At such a tense moment, no one paid attention to Emo Nien's cry, let alone paid attention to his thoughts. Everyone was retreating rapidly. The war between a patriarch and a patriarch was extremely terrible. Although they knew that their lives would be in danger at any time when they watched the war here, they were reluctant to miss this shocking duel. Gao Jianli's face was full of blood. No, it should be said that it was full of blood. At this time he had no face. At this time, he was shocked and angry, and his killing intention was soaring. He looked at Yulua clan leader and shouted, "Are you sure you want to go through this muddy water? Dragon dust is the one that we Feather Spirit clan have to protect even after fighting for our lives. What do you say?" The rain fell, and the clan leader was determined. Gao Jianli was locked by Yulua clan leader's 3 Feather Spirit's soul-destroying arrows. At this time, he did not dare to move or even release his breath. Otherwise, under the traction of the Qi machine, Yulua clan leader would take the first shot. Without releasing the breath, he could not use his strongest strength, let alone the power of Zichen Axe. In this case, he would be seriously injured even if he did not die in the face of 3 Feather Spirit soul-destroying arrows. At this time, Zhao Jianli was unable to ride a tiger. Neither did he enter nor retreat. Suddenly, he looked at the strong man of Brahma Duntun Valley standing in the air watching the excitement, and angrily said, "Don't you want to catch dragon dust? Why don't you do it? You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall." Chapter 4859. In the face of Gao Jianli's challenge, the strong men of Brahma Valley, who have surrounded here, look cold and just look at them quietly. Finally, Jiang Yizhou said, "We were ordered to catch Dragon Qin, but we are not in a hurry. We came all the way here. We were very dusty and hard. It was rare to watch a wonderful contest. It was just a break. You don't have to entertain us. You can do it when you have to, just as we don't exist." After Jiang Yizhou finished, he made a gesture to ask him to continue. Gao Jianli was so angry that his nose was crooked. He was kind enough to inform Brahma and Dangu, but these people were watching the fire from the other side. "How can you do this? Is this how Brahma and the Valley of the Holy Grail treat those who help them?" Gao Jian left his anger. "You can't say that. You report to Brahma Valley. Brahma Valley owes you a favor. That's your business. You can see clearly." As Jiang Yizhou said this, he pointed to the flame on his robe and said, "Among the divine patterns in the flame, there are mountains and valleys, which are the symbols of Brahma's valley. In my fire, there are palaces and Qionglu. This is the sign of the fire god temple. You can tell Brahma Valley that Brahma Valley owes you a favor. It has nothing to do with our fire god temple." Gao Jianli was furious. "Isn't Brahma's valley and the fire temple together? Otherwise, how could you come here?" Jiang Yizhou held out a finger and shook it. He said calmly, No. It seems that you didn't listen to my previous self-introduction. As I said, we are here to deal with problems for Brahma Valley, but this does not mean that the affairs of Brahma Valley are our affairs. Do not confuse them." Jiang Yizhou's tone of voice was relaxed and plain. His face even wore a playful expression. It seemed that he didn't take everything in front of him seriously. Moreover, he was indifferent to Gao Jianli's life and death. He even looked like sitting on the mountain watching the tiger fight. That appearance made Gao Jianli itch. For a moment, everyone's eyes focused on Gao Jianli. Lu Ziqiong looked at the patriarch who was in great awe. Her heart was full of mixed feelings, and she couldn't tell what she felt. When she looked at the dragon dust with the dragon bone on her shoulder and her cold face, her heart was miserable. No woman did not like the heroes of the world. She finally got a chance to make friends with Long Qin. She was full of worship for him and was proud to be a friend of Long Qin. However, good fortune makes people. Gao Jianli pushes Long Qin to the opposite. As a disciple of Zichen sect, she may not be an enemy of Long Qin, but she is no longer a friend of Long Qin. At this time, her face was pale, her head was in chaos, and she was disheartened. Even everything around her became indifferent. There was a dead silence in the audience. The rain fell on the patriarch's long bow. Her eyes were cold. No one dared doubt her determination to kill. Gao Jianli was gnashing his teeth. He had a Zichen axe in his hand, but he didn't dare to make any changes. None of the people present helped him. In fact, as long as someone can fight against the rain, even if he just distracts her, he will have a chance to burst out and inspire the power of Zichen axe. Unfortunately, both Chao Gufeng and the leader of Tianxin Hall stood there like a wood, watching the excitement quietly. The leader of the Yellow Spring Pavilion, however, was so old-fashioned that he almost fell asleep. He didn't move. As time went by, Gao Jianli finally failed to wait for any chance. He took a deep breath and put away his Zichen axe. Although his eyes were full of reluctance, he had no way. Face was important, but life was more important. Although he was surrounded by the powerful heavenly saints of Zichen clan, they were all watched by the elders of the four protectors around Yulua. They couldn't help him at all. Without external support, he had to admit defeat to protect his life. You won, but you won't always win. You'll regret your behavior. Zhao Jianli looks at the rain-falling clan leader coldly. Gao Jianli couldn't give Yulua a chance to talk back. He looked at Long Chen and said, "It seems that this shameful revenge can't be avenged. However, it doesn't matter. You are from Lingshao Academy. I will find out about those who are related to you, and then send them underground to accompany you." Looking at Gao Jianli and facing his threat, Long Chen narrowed his eyes. At that moment, he was hesitant to kill him. If he did, Yulua would help him kill Gao Jianli. Long Chen was not in the habit of asking others to help him, and finally responded coldly, "To paraphrase what you have just said, you will regret your behavior." Gao Jianli hums and leads people away. Although he also wants to see how Jiang Yizhou and others deal with Long Chen, he also wants to appreciate Long Chen's struggle in despair. Unfortunately, he has no face to stay here. Seeing Gao Jian leave, Lu Ziqiong and Lu Ziyu also got up and left silently. Even they didn't dare to say hello, so they left quietly. Looking at Gao Jianli's back, Jiang Yizhou shook his head and sighed. It's a pity. He ran all the way and hit the back of his head with his feet. He thought he could see a good play to relieve his depression, but he didn't expect that the leader of Zichen sect, Bai Chang, was so big and nothing. At this time, Gao Jianli hasn't gone far. Jiang Yizhou said this clearly to him. Gao Jianli's fist was clenched in an instant. This kind of ridicule was very destructive, but Gao Jianli pretended not to hear it and went on. Cut, bully the soft and fear the hard. If you are a dog, you can be a dog. If you are kicked away by someone, you won't even dare to fart. No one can do this as a man. Emo Nian, this guy, doesn't forget to mend his knife. Although Gao Jianli's expression could not be seen, Gao Jianli's hair was obviously branching out. Obviously, Emo Nian's words were more destructive than Jiang Yizhou's sarcasm. Gao Jianli leaves and Jiang Yizhou looks at Long Chen. At this time, Yulua has brought the four elder guardians to Long Chen's side, with a posture of advancing and retreating with Long Chen. Hey, wait for me and me. Emo Nian went to fight with him. He slowed down a step and hurried out. Don't come here, you two. Seeing that Yu Fei and Yu Tong also want to run out, Emo Nian hurriedly stops them. Don't you two come here to make trouble? Jiang Yizhou did not care about the rain, but looked at Long Chen and said, That's great. I read your information on the way. I didn't expect you to have done so many great things at your young age. Hey, have you read my information? Do you know how many great things I have done? Emo Nian smiled and smiled. Jiang Yizhou frowned and said coldly, Noisy, you'd better keep your mouth shut. Obviously, Jiang Yizhou was not interested in Emo Nian. As a result, his words made Emo Nian furious. Shit, do you think the dog is looking down on people? Come here and see if I can beat your shit out? Emo Nian was so angry that when he said something, he stroked his arms and sleeves and put on a posture of fighting. Emo Nian said as he shouted, Don't hold me, Dragon Dust. I'm going to beat him to death today. Dragon Dust was speechless for a while. There was rain between you and me. The clan leader and the four elders? How long can I hold you? An ungrateful fool. Jiang Yizhou's face sank. Suddenly, his big hand stretched out, and an arrow of fire came straight to Emo Nian. You can read the novel online free at Novel Hall. Calm that you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.